Chapter 598. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yes, you three will know what cruelty is later. Ninth senior sister, I plan to hand them over to Xueling for training. When Xueling and the others are ready to carry out the mission, they will pass. Love go little say. Chunite Sorrow looked at Yang Lei and announced his decision. Let's do that. If they can't handle it, they can go back so they don't lose their lives in the future. Yang Lei nodded. The cultivation intensity of the original Bloodstrike Guard could be said to be brutal. When the Celestial Fate Palace team had seen it, they had been extremely shocked. However, everyone's cultivation level was now the same. Ho Jian and the others were also strict with themselves, so their cultivation and training level naturally wouldn't be any lower than the original Bloodstrike Guard. After drinking, Night Sorrow led everyone to the God-slaying team's area. Night Sorrow waved his hand and called for Xueling and Ho Jian. Captain. Xueling and Ho Jian saluted Night Sorrow as they came to greet him. These three guys are disciples of the Medicine Valley. They want to fight with me. As their martial uncle, I can't not give them a chance. But they have to grasp the opportunity themselves. From today onwards, I'll leave the three of them to the two of you. You can decide the training plan and goal. If they can't complete it or feel that it's not good enough, let them go. Night Sorrow pointed at Ma Shizhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning. Ma Shizhuang and the other two came out and bowed to Xueling and Ho Jian. Yes, if they have ideas, we have to give them a chance. But whether they are suitable or not is another matter. Captain, I won't compromise. That will harm them and the other brothers, Xueling said. You two can decide on this matter. From today onwards they will train with you. Ninth senior sister, give them some resources later, Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei. After that, Night Sorrow, Yang Lei and Sikong Chiu left. The rest was up to Tang Tian and the rest. I don't know if they can withstand the pressure. Xueling and the others are not easy to deal with. They won't change their principles, Sikong Chiu said. It's better if you don't know how to be flexible. If you do, you'll lose your life on the battlefield, Night Sorrow said. After returning to the main building in the backyard, Night Sorrow went to meditate and cultivate. Not everything could affect Night Sorrow's cultivation plan. He cultivated for an entire day. After exiting the cultivation chamber, Night Sorrow took a bath and changed into a new set of robes. Then he went to the God-slaying squad's cultivation area. When Night Sorrow arrived, he saw Xueling training Ma Zhuang and the other two. Xueling was using the same level of cultivation to fight them, but the three of them were defeated by Xueling again and again. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.aichuxs.com. In a battle, cultivation isn't necessarily the key to victory. Battle awareness and adaptability are very important. If the three of you can't last 10 minutes in 2 days, you can go back to where you came from. After defeating Ma Zhuang and the other two again, Xueling came to Night Sorrow's side. How about them? I still say the same thing. They can't compromise, Night Sorrow said as he looked at Tang Tian and the other two. They're just SOSO. However, if they can't meet the requirements, they'll have to leave, Xueling said. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't have any objections to this kind of training. When Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei and Xueling, he said to Nangong Dai and the others, you guys don't have to watch. Let your ninth Uncle Master and Uncle Sikong show you around the city in the afternoon. After that, Night Sorrow left. He was just here to take a look. He wouldn't accompany Nangong Dai and the others to go shopping. Ninth Uncle Master, that training is a little too cruel. After following Yang Lei and the others out of the mansion, Nangong Dai said with lingering fear. She couldn't remember how many times Ma Zhuang and the other two had been defeated. There's nothing we can do about it. If we don't have strict requirements now, we'll just die if we go out to war, Yang Lei said. Can't we cultivate naturally? Su Feng asked. The members of the God-slaying team are required to have the ability to fight above their level. Actual combat strength is very important. The team won't accept members with high cultivation but low combat strength. If Ma Zhuang and the other two can't prove themselves, then your 13th Uncle Master can't do anything about it. After all, it's a team. Your 13th Uncle Master has to be responsible for the team. This isn't a joke, Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow returned to the secret cultivation room and started cultivating. Night Sorrow was still a little anxious because the war with the Tianfeng dynasty could start at any time. While Night Sorrow and the others were cultivating, Lan Yuxuan came to the Qingxing cottage. After learning that Night Sorrow was cultivating in seclusion, Lan Yuxuan waited. Night Sorrow's identity as a Heaven's Extremity emissary qualified her to wait. However, in the evening Wu Lingfei appeared. Seeing Wu Lingfei, Lan Yuxuan quickly bowed. You must have something to do here. Wu Lingfei looked at Lan Yuxuan and asked. I'm here to deliver resources to Heaven's Extremity Emissary. Someone completed the mission and brought back 2 desolate stones, Lan Yuxuan said. Oh? Someone actually completed the desolate stones mission. The mission reward was paid by Tianji Tower, right? What do you want? I'll give it to you, Wu Lingfei said. That person turned in the mission. He didn't want soul crystals or top-grade crystals. He only wanted life spirit fluid, Lan Yuxuan said. Show me the desolate stones. Wu Lingfei frowned. 3 key % unique? Square root original X edition A*. All others are pirates. Edition A Night Sorrow also came at this time. He nodded at Lan Yuxuan and called for the servants to make tea. After looking at the desolate stones, Wu Lingfei handed the desolate stones to Night Sorrow. However, she still narrowed her eyes and pondered. How much life spirit fluid? Night Sorrow asked. 10 drops, Lan Yuxuan said. Night Sorrow nodded. He filled a jade bottle with 10 drops of life spirit fluid and handed it to Lan Yuxuan. Then Lan Yuxuan bowed to Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow and left the Qingxing cottage. It should be, Wu Lingfei said. What's wrong, Auntie Fei? Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Wu Lingfei and asked. The 2 desolate stones just now were covered with dust, soil and air. This means that they weren't newly obtained. They should have been stored for a long time. They didn't want soul crystals or top-grade spirit stones, but only life spirit fluid. This means that they urgently need to replenish their vitality. It's very likely that Jiyu's family brought these desolate stones to Tianji Tower to turn in the mission, Wu Lingfei said. Isn't that giving Jiyu Haitian a chance to recover? Night Sorrow said in surprise. He didn't want to give Jiyu Haitian a chance to recover because of him. It doesn't matter. Even if you give him a treasure to replenish his vitality, it will be very difficult for him to recover. Not only did he lose an arm, but you also hit him twice with the mysterious jade hand. His condition isn't good. Even with the help of life spirit fluid, it's unlikely for him to recover. It's even more impossible for him to increase his cultivation. He's no longer a match for you, Wu Lingfei said. That's good. I don't want my resources to go to my opponents, Night Sorrow said. Aren't there resources supporting your rise? It's hard to say who will suffer losses and who will benefit, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. But I need a lot of desolate stones. It's not easy to convert the energy in my body into desolate's power, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 599. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I'll provide you with wonderful novels to read. I understand. I plan to go to the desolate sea when I have time. I have to find my own opportunities. It's a bit difficult to wait for them, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. Your thoughts and train of thought are correct, but you should wait. Aunt Fei won't be at ease if you don't go out until you reach the Venerable Realm. Only when you reach the Venerable Realm and can cultivate the spatial crack will I be at ease, Wu Lingfei said. I understand. Don't worry, Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. You're in a good state now. How about this? Come with me. I'll teach you the secret technique of Soul Avatar. Wu Lingfei then led Night Sorrow to the viewing tower. Updated, new, fast equals 7. After arriving at the observation tower, Wu Lingfei gave Yishang a general description of the Soul Avatar. The requirements to cultivate Soul Avatar were very high. Similarly, the stronger one's soul power, the better. If one's soul power cultivation was low, even if one had the secret technique of Soul Avatar, they wouldn't dare to cultivate it. If they failed, the consequences would be very serious. To cultivate Soul Avatar, one had to first separate a strand of soul power and put it into the medium of the avatar. There were many kinds of medium to cultivate Soul Avatar, such as Soul Raising Stone, Yin-Yang Stone, Fantasy Spirit Stone, but the best one was the Phantom Stone. Love, Gon Little say W. Chu. After the soul power entered the medium, one could cultivate it. In the beginning, the medium couldn't leave the body until the avatar was formed. Before the avatar was formed, the body had to control the soul power to absorb the energy of the Phantom Stone and use the soul power as the core to form the body. This was the first stage. The second stage was cultivation. After the avatar was formed, it began to absorb energy to strengthen the body. The cultivation of Soul Avatar is divided into 3 levels according to the amount of soul power you put in. The more soul power you put in, the higher the starting point of the avatar. The highest level of Soul Avatar will have 70% of the body's combat power after it's cultivated, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. I think Auntie Fei should have some good suggestions for me, Night Sorrow said. That's right. Low-level soul avatars don't have much battle prowess. They just need to be stationed in important places. If something happens, the main body will be the first to know. This is relatively simple. All you need is a strand of soul power. It won't affect the main body. The second is a soul clone with 30% to 40% of the main body's fighting power. This requires a third of the main body's soul power. Almost no one dares to touch this kind of thing, Wu Lingfei said. Why didn't anyone touch it? Night Sorrow asked in confusion. Listen to Auntie Fei first. That was the first two. The third one requires half of the soul power. When this kind of avatar is cultivated to the large success stage, it will have 60% to 70% of the original body's fighting power. Because of this choice, those who can cultivate soul avatars will either cultivate the first one, which won't cause any harm to the body, or the third one, which will cause great harm to the body. But once the soul avatar is successfully cultivated, it will be equivalent to having an additional battle partner that is connected to the mind. The second one is a bit useless, so very few people cultivate it. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow why almost no one cultivated the second one. Then I'll definitely cultivate the third one. Night Sorrow directly made his decision. The first one didn't have much meaning and the second one was useless. Auntie Fei guessed that you would choose this and will support your choice. Auntie Fei told you about the ordinary soul avatar cultivation methods. But Auntie Fei's soul avatar cultivation methods are high level. When the third one is cultivated to the large success stage, it will have 90% of the original body's strength, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Auntie Fei has many cultivation methods, and they are also powerful. Night Sorrow smiled at Wu Lingfei. Baidu search AI_Go_Xiao_Shua www.adchuex.com. No, in fact, many of Auntie Fei's battle skills and cultivation methods are inherited from the clan. High-level spirit beasts all have their clan's inheritance. When they grow to a certain extent, they will comprehend the clan's secret skills. Alright, listen well, Auntie Fei will now tell you the specific cultivation method. Wu Lingfei moved closer to Night Sorrow and told him the cultivation method for Soul Avatar. After speaking, Wu Lingfei's face turned pale and her body swayed. Auntie Fei, what's wrong? Night Sorrow reached out to support Wu Lingfei. Although some things shouldn't be done if you want to do it, the secret skills of the Ice Phoenix clan should not be taught to others. There are some restrictions on the soul. Auntie Fei is a bit overboard. Wu Lingfei took 2 deep breaths and said, Auntie Fei, I don't want to learn it. Night Sorrow shook his head and said, It's okay, Auntie Fei can withstand it. If you didn't enter the Sage Realm, the consequences would be serious. Now it's not a big problem, but you can't teach this to others. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. I understand, I definitely won't. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. You call me Auntie Fei, so this kind of punishment is not very serious. If you teach the secret skills to unrelated people, the consequences will be unimaginable. Auntie Fei will be fine after resting for a while. I will definitely recover in 2 or 3 days. But you cultivated Soul Avatar and your soul was injured. It will take some time for you to recover. Auntie Fei estimates that it will take at least half a year to a year. It shouldn't delay your advancement to the Venerable Realm, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Then Night Sorrow made a pot of tea for Wu Lingfei. Okay, if you want to cultivate, then finish the important stage here. Wu Lingfei took a sip of tea and said. Night Sorrow nodded and sorted out the Soul Avatar secret technique. Then he took out the biggest Void Dao stone. Why is it so big? Isn't it the original one? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow told her about how he had picked up the leftovers. You can even encounter such a thing. This is not bad. Wu Lingfei was also convinced by Night Sorrow. No one would believe that he could pick up a Void Dao stone so casually. Auntie Fei, then I'll start. After nodding to Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow held the Void Dao stone with both hands. Then he poured the soul power in the Spirit Sea into the Void Dao stone. The Void Dao stone did not reject anyone. It absorbed all the soul power that Night Sorrow could not see with the naked eye, but he could feel it. The consumption of a large amount of soul power was very uncomfortable. Night Sorrow persisted until half of the soul power in the Spirit Sea had disappeared. Only then did Night Sorrow stop. Then he communicated with the soul power in the Void Dao stone and controlled the circulation of the soul power in the Void Dao stone to absorb the energy of the Void Dao stone. At this moment, Night Sorrow's face was pale, as if he had been severely injured. In fact, Night Sorrow's soul had been severely injured. This was because this was not an ordinary consumption of soul power. Half of the soul power that had entered the Void Dao stone belonged to Night Sorrow's source power. Forcefully enduring the discomfort in his body, Night Sorrow continued to communicate with the soul power in the Void Dao Stone to cultivate. This was a very crucial step, and in the Soul Avatar secret technique, it was called foundation building. It took Yishang an entire day to stabilize the soul force within the Phantom Dao Stone. The energy within the Phantom Dao Stone formed a cocoon that wrapped around the soul force that Yishang had released into the Phantom Dao Stone. It wouldn't be lost because of Yishang's lack of control. Chapter 600. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Feeling stable, Night Sorrow opened his eyes, but his eyes were full of fatigue. This time, Night Sorrow's injury was very serious. It was an injury to his soul origin. Building your foundation is the most dangerous. Once you pass this stage, there won't be any big problems. Wu Lingfei said. Thank you, Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow said. Don't be so polite with Aunt Fei. Take this ice silk bag and put it in the Void Dao Stone. Remember, don't let the Void Dao Stone leave your side. That way your soul power will easily dissipate and your compatibility with your main body will also be low. Also, be careful not to let other people's soul power come into contact with it. In ancient times, high-level spirit cultivators whose bodies were destroyed liked to steal other people's avatars when they were cultivating. Wu Lingfei said. Soul avatars can also be stolen? Night Sorrow said in surprise. You should know about possession. Just like the life saintess you met in the death space, what she did to you was possession. Possession is to erase other people's souls and seize the body. Stealing soul avatars is the same and the success rate is higher. After all, soul avatars don't have much defense in the first stage. Wu Lingfei said. I understand. I will pay attention. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that there was nothing wrong with being careful. Love, go little say W. Chu, go back and rest. You also suffered serious injuries this time, but to cultivate soul avatars this stage must be passed. Wu Lingfei said. After leaving Wu Lingfei's observation tower, Night Sorrow felt that he had indeed suffered a lot of damage. He didn't know how long it would take to recover. In the main building, Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow, why is your face so ugly? Why didn't you leave the mansion? Sikong Chuyu asked as he helped Night Sorrow to sit down. It's fine. I'm cultivating a secret technique that consumes a lot of energy. I'll go meditate to recover. This time it'll take a bit longer. Ninth senior sister, help me keep an eye on Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian and Chu Ning. Also, get them some tier 3 and tier 4 medicinal pills. Don't use the team's resources. After saying that, Night Sorrow entered the secret cultivation room to cultivate. 13. What's wrong? Yang Lei's eyes were filled with worry. She didn't understand what was going on. It shouldn't be a big problem. If it was, he wouldn't have hidden it from us, Sikong Chuyu said. When Night Sorrow returned to the secret training room, he took out the Void Dao Stone and placed it on his legs. Then he took out the Profound Turtle Crystal and woke Shao Kong up. What's wrong with you? Little Kong, who was awakened by Night Sorrow, immediately noticed that something was wrong with Night Sorrow. Yishang then told him about how he had cultivated a soul doppelganger. The Spacetime Pagoda has the ability to repair the flaws in a cultivator's soul. As for whether or not it can help you repair it, I don't know. Just give it a try. If it can't repair it, then replenish it, Little Kong said to Night Sorrow. Depleted energy and origin energy were two completely different concepts. Depleted energy could be replenished with some time. However, if one's origin energy was damaged, it would be very difficult to repair. If one consumed too much energy, it wouldn't be considered an injury. However, if one's origin energy was damaged, it would be a serious injury. After cultivating for 2 hours, Night Sorrow smiled. The Spacetime Pagoda was simply too overbearing. It constantly provided energy to strengthen the quality of one's soul power. It was just like when Night Sorrow first entered the Spacetime Pagoda. Back then, Night Sorrow's soul power wasn't perfect. It was the Spacetime Pagoda's energy that improved it to a perfect state. The effect was beyond Night Sorrow's imagination. Since it could be repaired, Night Sorrow felt at ease and began cultivating. Night Sorrow was now cultivating naturally. Other than providing energy to repair his soul, the Spacetime Pagoda was also assisting Night Sorrow's cultivation of his primary energy and bloodline power. With the assistance of the Black Tortoise Crystal, the Myriad Dash Treasured Tome's cultivation speed was also very fast. Time slowly slipped away and Night Sorrow's soul slowly recovered. It was a fundamental recovery. 1 month had passed, but Night Sorrow still hadn't come out. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu grew anxious. The two of them didn't dare disturb Night Sorrow and went to look for Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei told the two that Night Sorrow had suffered some injuries due to cultivating a secret technique. He needed time to recover and there wasn't any problem. After hearing Wu Lingfei's explanation, the two of them were relieved. During this period, Lin Yuandao also came once to discuss the matter of attacking the Tianfeng dynasty with Wu Lingfei. After hearing that Night Sorrow was in seclusion, he didn't disturb Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's seclusion this time was the longest. It was only until the third month that his soul power recovered to its original state. After sensing his spirit sea, Night Sorrow was overjoyed because his spirit sea was incomparably round again. It had once again reached its perfect state. In addition, Night Sorrow's primary energy had also reached the peak of the 8th level of the Void Inquiry stage. His myriad Dao's treasured tome had also reached the mid-6th level of the Dao-seeking realm. After drinking 2 mouthfuls of wine from the wine jar, Night Sorrow went out of the secret cultivation room. After taking a bath, he went to the main hall of the main building and brewed a pot of tea. "Why are you in seclusion for so long? Why can't you rest before going? You don't know how worried we are." Yang Lei came out and glared at Night Sorrow when she saw him. "There's something wrong with my body. I went to recover," Night Sorrow said. "Seeing that your mental state is excellent, there shouldn't be any problem." Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. "I'm fine. I've fully recovered." "Then I'm relieved. Also, there's something I want to tell you. I've already comprehended the purple flame lightning attribute. I'm also cultivating my body now. I've asked Aunt Fei and she said that it's the purple flame physique which is relatively more domineering." Yang Lei told Night Sorrow a piece of good news. "This is great news. I still need to get you some lightning attribute crystals. That way your cultivation base will improve faster," Night Sorrow said. While Night Sorrow and Yang Lei were chatting, Sikong Chuyu also came. After asking about Night Sorrow's situation, Sikong Chuyu saw the ice silk bag on Night Sorrow's waist. "Night Sorrow, what bag is hanging on your waist?" "It's a Void Dao stone. I've cultivated a soul avatar." Night Sorrow didn't hide it from the two girls because there was no need. If the two girls wanted to talk about learning, Night Sorrow would explain. Yishang wouldn't selfishly hurt Wu Lingfei for the sake of the two women. So it's like this. You're not feeling well because of cultivating a soul avatar? Yang Lei understood the key. It's like this. How's the situation outside? Have Ma Shizhuang and the other two adapted? Night Sorrow asked. We don't know what the situation is like. Chief K-Lord came once. Also, Ma Shizhuang and the other two are not bad. They all endured Xueling's devilish training and entered the Severed Soul stage last month. Now everyone has accepted them. Yang Lei said. Then let's go take a look. I'll give them some gifts. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 601. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. When Night Sorrow arrived, Ma Shizhuang and the other two were practicing their combat skills under Ho Jian's guidance. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.ichuxs.com. Seeing Yishang arrive, everyone stopped cultivating and cupped their hands in greeting. Xueling, Ho Jian, how are the three of them? Night Sorrow looked at Xueling and Ho Jian and asked. Not bad. They just need to slowly improve their cultivation. Their combat awareness and combat skills are good, Ho Jian said. Xueling also nodded. You three come here. Night Sorrow waved at Ma Shizhuang and the other two. After Ma Shizhuang and the other two came over, they bowed to Night Sorrow. In the team, I'm your team leader. In private, I'm your uncle. Night Sorrow emphasized his position. Seeing Ma Shizhuang and the other two nod, Night Sorrow took out 3 beast-taming crystals and gave them to them. Then change your mounts. When you're done with your cultivation, come with me. I'll buy you a few battle robes. Ma Shizhuang and the others nodded. They knew that this was their uncle's concern. After watching everyone practice for a while, Night Sorrow greeted the two girls and went to the observation tower where Wu Lingfei was. When Night Sorrow arrived, Wu Lingfei also came upstairs to the living room and personally made tea. Something's not right. The effect of cultivating the soul doppelganger seems to have disappeared. This shouldn't be. Even if it's recovered, it's only a quantitative recovery. If the soul isn't complete, it will affect you for a long time. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Then Night Sorrow explained the characteristics of the space-time pagoda and the reason why he had recovered. That's great. I didn't expect the space-time pagoda to have such an effect. Then you just need to cultivate slowly. Can you feel the soul doppelganger now? Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow. It's already formed, but it's only the size of a fist. Love Gon Shao Shuat W, Chu Night Sorrow said. It's good that it's formed. Once it's formed, you can continue to nourish it according to the secret cultivation method. This is not something that can be done in a day or two. It will take time, Wu Lingfei said. Then is Aunt Fei all right? Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei and asked. It's nothing. It's just the backlash of my soul. After cultivating for 2 days, I've already recovered. Your cultivation base has already reached the peak of the 8th level of the Void Inquiry stage. You're about to advance to the next realm. It's indeed fast. Seeing Night Sorrow's cultivation base, Wu Lingfei sighed with emotion. This is all thanks to the Spacetime Pagoda. As long as I can refine it, it can provide me with an endless supply of energy. I'm only responsible for refining it. Night Sorrow was very glad that he had obtained the Spacetime Pagoda. Otherwise, not only would his cultivation speed not be so fast, he would also have to consume a large amount of resources. In the past, the Spacetime Pagoda provided energy for many people in the Qingtian region to cultivate. Now it's only for you. Of course there's no problem. You're really lucky, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. While drinking tea and chatting, Night Sorrow felt very relaxed at this moment because everything was going smoothly. You just need to focus on your cultivation. Aunt Fei will prepare a spiritual weapon for you to use for your clone. After drinking a pot of tea, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Spiritual weapon? Night Sorrow looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes. It takes a very long time to nourish your soul clone. This time is enough for you to advance to the Venerable Realm. Do you think I still need to prepare a 5th grade weapon and defensive equipment for you? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said with a smile. I still have a spiritual weapon. To be more precise, it's a mid-grade sacred treasure. However, I can't take it away and use it. That will make me seem immoral. Night Sorrow told her about the 8-dragon cauldron. Your cultivation base has indeed caught up. However, you're still an idiot in some aspects. Wu Lingfei shook her head helplessly. Then she told Night Sorrow that as long as it was a complete and not a damaged sacred treasure, even a high-level spiritual weapon would have a secondary body. Although the secondary body was very different from the main body, it still had the general functions. That means that once my soul clone is cultivated, I can bring the main body of the 8-dragon cauldron with me to protect myself? Night Sorrow asked with some joy. Yes. Of course, the secondary body doesn't have a weapon spirit. It can only be used for some normal purposes. However, it can still be used to continue cultivating the disciples of the Medicine Valley. Wu Lingfei nodded. Genuine our first Z, that's great. Yi Shan was very excited. You're indeed lucky. There are very few spiritual treasures now, but you actually have a sacred treasure. Normally, it's very difficult to use weapons and magic treasures that are of a higher level. However, it's a different matter to obtain the approval of the weapon spirit. Therefore, there's nothing to say about your luck. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow with a smile and said, when the time comes, I'll take the materials and trouble Lord K to help me forge another spear. The reincarnation spear in my hand can only be advanced. I won't replace it. Night Sorrow nodded and said, yes, you can't replace the spear in your hand because there's something special about it. The blade of the spear has the characteristic of destroying souls. After you enter the Venerable Realm, you should study it carefully. Wu Lingfei said. My master said that the blade of the reincarnation spear is made of reincarnation stone, so I call it the reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow said. Reincarnation stone, hee. That's a top-grade material. No wonder I feel that it has the ability to harm soul power. It makes sense that it's a reincarnation stone. Wu Lingfei glanced at the reincarnation spear on Night Sorrow's back again and said. Then Wu Lingfei talked about the Qinji Tower and the Tianfeng dynasty. The battle hadn't started yet. Seeing that the Qinji Tower was making a big move, the Tianfeng dynasty stopped a little. On the Qinji Tower's side, because the construction of the second base hadn't been completed yet, they planned to postpone the battle. The main reason was that Guozhao's injuries hadn't healed yet. Wu Lingfei's advice to Lin Yuandao was to wait a little. Guozhao was also a great fighting force. Once Guozhao recovered, the Qinji Tower's ability to deal with unexpected situations would be better. Night Sorrow drank a pot of tea and left Wu Lingfei's observation tower. At this time, Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu were about to take Ma Shizhuang and the others to the street. Since there was nothing else, Night Sorrow followed along. You three can't blame your 13th martial uncle for being strict. He's doing this for your own good. If he's strict with you now, the chances of you losing your lives in the future will be much smaller. Yang Lei said to Ma Shizhuang and the others. Ninth Martial Uncle, the three of us understand. We're very happy to have such an opportunity. I don't know when we can really participate in the battle. Tang Tian said. Yes, it won't take long. Night Sorrow said with a smile. At this time, on an isolated island in the sea, a purple-robed man was standing with his hands behind his back. Behind him were several black-robed men who were reporting the recent events. You said that a young man surnamed Yi appeared in the Eastern Shen domain and used the space rend when he killed the venerable of the Jianghu family? The man turned around. The man was tall and sturdy. His black hair was tied up in a bun on top of his head with a jade pendant. His sword-like eyebrows slanted to his temples and his eyes flashed with a sharp light. Chapter 602. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Pay attention to this matter. The main thing to pay attention to is the situation in the Taiching region. Love go little say, Chu. The purple-robed man closed his eyes and thought for a moment before speaking. There will probably be a war in the Taiching region soon. The Tianfeng dynasty is extremely arrogant and has been squeezing Tianji Tower. This time they even participated in the domain war and stood together with the Qingtian region to attack the Eastern Shen region. The Eastern Shen region itself is inextricably linked to Tianji Tower, a black-robed man said. Ah! The Tianfeng dynasty is not too far away from destruction. The purple-robed man sneered in a low voice. Sixth uncle, when can we fight back? I want to avenge my family. A man knelt on one knee and 2 drops of tears fell to the ground. Get up. In the Night Moon clan, there are only men who die standing. There are no cowards who live kneeling. The purple-robed man waved his hand and helped the black-robed man up. Chapter 4. Are you all very anxious? In fact, our Night Moon dynasty is not afraid of the Tianfeng dynasty, the Qingming dynasty, or the Golden Dragon King dynasty at all. However, the water is very deep because the key to victory is not the battle between venerables. Do you know how our undefeated prince was defeated? They are a group of despicable and shameless people. The purple-robed man raised his head and roared. Sixth prince, please enlighten us. Another man bowed and said. It was a saint. A saint disguised himself as a venerable to launch a sneak attack. That's why Prince Ling Huan was severely injured. Our Night Moon clan also has a saint. You all continue to investigate. As for the children in the Eastern Shen region who can use spatial techniques, don't forget to pay attention. That battle caused many families in our Night Moon dynasty to lose their homes. Many relatives are missing. 2 of our direct descendants are missing. Go and investigate again. After the purple-robed man finished speaking, he turned around and a spatial crack appeared in front of him. The man stepped into the spatial crack. The black-robed men watched the spatial crack close and then turned around and left the island. After accompanying Ma Zhuang and the others for a stroll on the streets, Night Sorrow returned to the backyard. Are you going to train again? Yang Lei asked Night Sorrow. Yeah, Jianghu didn't show up during the Realm War. I don't know what level he is at now. If I don't cultivate, I won't be able to catch up with him. Night Sorrow sighed and said. Night Sorrow hadn't heard anything about Jianghu during this period of time, but he knew that Jianghu's power would definitely soar. Jianghu was a time warrior, so the Jianghu family would definitely pay attention to him. Jianghu, why are you mentioning him? He is quite talented in the Jianghu family, but if he is not a venerable, he will not be able to defeat you, said Sikong Chuyu. You guys just don't know. He entered the Venerate realm before the Realm War. It doesn't matter if he's an ordinary Venerate. His element advanced from the Earth element to the Time element. Yi Shang shared the information he had obtained from Lin Yuandao. The chances of the Earth element evolving into the Space element are high, but the chances of evolving into the Time element are much lower. This guy actually managed to figure out the Time element. Sikong Chuyu said in surprise. The Time element is second only to the Supreme Being element. Jianghu family will definitely nurture him with all their resources. Therefore he will definitely grow fast. Therefore, I have to reach the Venerable Realm as soon as possible. Night Sorrow said. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu nodded. They both knew that Night Sorrow and Jianghu had a huge grudge against each other. Firstly, from Jianghu's point of view, it was Night Sorrow who snatched the woman he liked, which was equivalent to slapping his face. Besides, it was Night Sorrow who led his men to destroy the ancestral temple of Jianghu family. It was impossible for him not to know about it. As for Night Sorrow's side, because of Jianghu's order, the people of Jianghu family chopped off one of old Man Gu's arms. This matter could not be forgotten. Don't worry. He is definitely not a match for you. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said, I have confidence in myself. As long as someone stands in my way, I will definitely kill him. I don't care who he is. Night Sorrow waved his hand at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu and went to the secret cultivation room. He wanted to break through to the 9th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Time attribute. Jiyu Hao has actually comprehended the time attribute. This is not good news for us. Yang Lei said. Yes. Since he can change the flow of time, his combat power must be very strong. However, it won't affect Night Sorrow much. Let's not talk about other things. Night Sorrow has the power of desolation. Regardless of whether it's time acceleration or deceleration, it won't affect him much. Sikong Chuyu said. At this moment, in a manor outside Sky-Bearing City, a man in blue robes was practicing his sword technique. If one looked carefully, they would discover that the sword light and the sword itself were flowing with undercurrents. After cultivating for a while, the man in blue robes kept his sword. However, the effect of your time deceleration is very strong. You just need to continue developing it in this direction. The time attribute is second only to the supreme attribute. It can suppress opponents at the same level as you and even those with higher cultivation bases than you. Ji Yufeng looked at Ji Yuhao and said, Grandpa, why don't you let me fight? Ji Yuhao looked at Ji Yufeng and asked, Because nothing can happen to you. You have just entered the Venerable Realm. If you encounter a veteran Venerable Realm expert, you will easily be at a disadvantage. You are the future of the Jiyu clan. When your cultivation base improves, will it be difficult for the Jiyu clan to return to its peak? Ji Yufeng looked at Ji Yuhao and said. Currently, Ji Yuhao was the most important trump card in Ji Yufeng's hand. This was also the reason why Ji Yufeng did not allow Ji Yuhao to fight in this domain war. Grandpa, I can wait for other things. However, I must kill that Night Sorrow of the Eastern Profound region. If I don't kill him, I won't be able to calm down. Ji Yuhao said. He couldn't wait to go to the Eastern Profound region and kill Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was a thorn in his throat. When Sikong Tianhua came to the Jiyu clan with Sikong Chuyu's portrait and proposed a marriage alliance, Ji Yuhao had fallen in love with Sikong Chuyu. However, he received news that Sikong Chuyu and Night Sorrow were living together. The Sikong clan had also agreed to this matter. He felt that this was a disgrace to him. Don't worry. The Jiyu clan will not fall. You can have any woman you want. Your foundation is too weak now. If you continue to improve, that guy won't be qualified to be your opponent. What you need to do is to become an invincible expert among venerables. Also, Grandpa won't hide it from you. The Jiyu clan has Saint crystals with the time and space attributes. As long as you have a smooth journey, you will have no problem entering the Saint realm. Grandpa, I will work hard. Ji Yuhao nodded. As long as you work hard. Grandpa was tricked by the space-time pagoda at the most critical moment. Otherwise, Grandpa would have had the chance to enter the Saint realm with the space attribute. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Ji Yufenglan's eyes were filled with hatred. Even if he had 5 more days to complete the conversion, there was still a problem. If you asked who hated Yi Shang the most, it would be Ji Yufenglan. Chapter 603. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Only $Ijing, edition %, every 8 others X is 1, Pirate, J edition 5. It's very difficult. The chances are slim. Although his comprehension is still there, it takes too much space energy to convert Earth element Jin Qi into space element Jin Qi. Our family has some space crystals, but the quantity is too low. We can only convert 1/3 of it, which is meaningless. In addition, grandfather's life source and meridians have been severely damaged. It will be even more difficult for him to recover. Ji Yufenglan sighed and said, Can't we think of a way? Ji Yuhao frowned and said, Our family has exchanged for treasures that can replenish life source, but they are prepared for the Great Elder. We don't have any extra for grandfather. Ji Yufenglan sighed and said, They did get some treasures, but they were prepared for Ji Yuhai. He was helpless about it. The Great Elder's element is ordinary. Even a saint can't defeat him. He has no future. It's better to put all the resources on grandfather. Ji Yuhao's eyes flashed. Some things are better left unsaid. Grandfather has sent people to do missions again. Tianji Tower's foundation is deeper than our family's. They have more treasures. It's up to fate. The Golden Phoenix is grandfather's nemesis. We can't do anything about it. Ji Yufenglan said. You're not bad. I can help you, but there's a condition. At this time, a silver-haired woman appeared in the manor. Jiyu and Fenglan greet Senior. Jiyu Fenglan pulled Jiyu Hao and bowed to the woman. He couldn't see her cultivation level, but he knew that she was a saint, and not a beginner saint. No need for formalities. The Qingtian domain belongs to the people of the Qingtian domain. Your family's grand elder doesn't have much potential. So what if he recovers? Even if he recovers, he won't be a match for him. The silver-haired woman was tall and slender. Her phoenix eyes were filled with mesmerizing whirlpools. I have no choice. My Dao foundation is destroyed. I can only ask the grand elder of my family to restore it, said Ji Yufeng. Your temperament is still lacking. Don't place your fate on others. I can help you recover your Dao foundation and even provide you with some space crystals. However, you have to promise me one thing. Don't start any civil war in the Qingtian region. The silver-haired woman looked at Jiu Fenglan and said, Junior will keep it in mind. Hearing the silver-haired woman's words, Jiu Fenglan bowed and said, This is a water spirit fruit. It can nourish and heal your damaged meridians. These space crystals, together with the ones stored in your family, should be enough for you to finish the upgrade. The rest is up to you. The silver-haired woman took out some resources and threw them in front of Jiyu and Fenglan. Thank you, Senior. Jiyu Fenglan's lifeless eyes lit up again. Time attribute very good. The future of the Qingtian region depends on you youngsters. I still have a few time crystals here. You can have them. The white-robed woman waved her hand again and threw a few time crystals to Jiyu Hao. Jiyu Hao also bowed to express his gratitude. He knew that his opportunity had come. Also, I have something to tell you. Jiyu family is not the only family with saints. Therefore, you have to think carefully before you do anything. Saints are not allowed to participate in the war. This was set by the saints of the 9 regions many years ago. Of course, new saints are not aware of this. Also, the Eastern Shen region cannot be bullied. You must not invade the Eastern Shen region. The consequences will be severe. Senior, can you leave your name? Jiyu Fenglan will remember it. Jiyu Fenglan cupped his hands towards the silver-haired woman. I am Inshi. Remember, even if there is a war with the Eastern Shen region, it must be carried out in the Taiwei region. Saints are not allowed to enter the Eastern Shen region. Inshi said and left the manor. Looking at the resources in front of him, Jiyu Fenglan laughed and said, The heavens have not let me down. Golden Phoenix, our enmity is not over. Congratulations, Grandpa. Jiyu Hao bowed. There needs to be a change in the plan. I can't provide the life spiritual liquid to the Supreme Elder. You can cultivate by yourself. Grandpa needs to find a safe place to cultivate in seclusion. A place where even the Supreme Elder can't find. No one can stop Grandpa from rising. After saying a few words to Jiyu Fenglan, he left the manor. Jiyu Fenglan, who now had hope, emerged once again. Jiyu Hao looked at the few time crystals in front of him and clenched his fists. He felt that he was not far away from fulfilling his ambition. Since the saints are not participating in the war, I can increase my cultivation base and kill my way into the Eastern Shen region. It won't be a problem for me to go there and kill Night Sorrow. However, he planned to go to the Taiqing region first because the Tianji Tower and the Tianfeng dynasty were confronting each other. After a few days, Night Sorrow finally came out from the secret cultivation room. You succeeded. Seeing Night Sorrow come out from the secret cultivation room, Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow happily. Yes. I'm at the peak of the void inquiry stage now. Night Sorrow nodded. After drinking a cup of tea with the 2 ladies, Night Sorrow told them about his plan. He planned to go to the Night Moon Sky to see the old site of the Night Moon dynasty. The 2 ladies nodded. They knew that this was Night Sorrow's worry. Night Sorrow was about to advance to the Venerable Realm. The state of mind was very important. Night Sorrow wanted to go to the Night Moon Sky to have a look. This was his worry. After that, Night Sorrow went to greet Wu Lingfei and told her that he wanted to go to the Night Moon Sky. Aunt Fei is indeed worried. However, I won't stop you if you want to go. When a bird grows up, it will have to fly alone. Be careful at all times. Also, keep your Void Dao Stone away before you fight. You must not be attacked or collided with. Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow. Wu Lingfei was worried about Yi Shang, but she thought about it. Yi Shang had to walk his own path. He couldn't be protected all the time. Besides, she felt that it was impossible for a primary saint to kill Yi Shang. A high-level saint wouldn't be so bored. Besides, Yi Shang was only going to take a look at Yi Yuetian, not to fight. As long as he wasn't targeted, he would be fine. Night Sorrow went to the god-slaying squad and gave them some instructions. Then he left the Qing Xian courtyard on Tianyu and went to the strategic teleportation formation. They directly teleported to the underground Great Hall of the Heaven Fate Pavilion. Lord Heaven Fate Emissary is here. Are you going to the Dark Tower? Heavenly Star asked when he saw Night Sorrow take off his mask. No, I want to go to the Taiching region. Can I teleport here? Night Sorrow asked. Heavenly Star nodded at Night Sorrow. Yes. Do you want to go now, Emissary? The Taiching region is quite chaotic now. Some of the people from the Qingtian region's City Lord Mansion are also there. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to take a look and increase my field of vision, Night Sorrow said. Alright, I'll help you teleport. Heavenly Star nodded and helped Night Sorrow start the teleportation. The two regions with the most developed teleportation formations in the Tianji Tower were the Taiching region and the Eastern Xian region. After helping Night Sorrow teleport, Heavenly Star entered the Dark Tower and told the higher-ups of the Tianji Tower about this matter. After taking 2 teleportation formations, Night Sorrow arrived at the most prosperous city in the Taiching region, Taiching City. Chapter 604. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. However, Night Sorrow didn't know that he was seen by a disciple of Jianghu's family as soon as he stepped out of the teleportation array. This disciple of Jianghu's family was a lucky survivor of the battle at Ji Royal City. This time he was sent by Jianghu's family to join forces with Tianfeng dynasty in Taiching domain. He saw Night Sorrow order the city lord's mansion to be burned down. When he saw Night Sorrow, he immediately went to Jianghu's family stronghold in Taiching domain and told the manager what he knew. Are you sure he's the leader of the group that destroyed Ji Royal City? Jianghu, who happened to arrive at Taiching domain, stood up and asked. I can't be wrong, but I don't know his name, said the disciple. Brother Feng, let's go. Since he dares to come to Taiching domain, we must kill him. We can't give him a chance to go back, said Jianghu as he stood up. Jianghu stood up and said. The man standing beside him was Ji Yufeng. He was the one who brought people to Bamboo Garden Village and cut off Mr. Gu's arm. Brother Hao, we're venerables. If we kill him, who's not a venerables, Tianji Tower might be in big trouble. Ji Yufeng was a little worried. He had just entered the venerables realm and came to Taiching domain to relax. He didn't have any other intentions. Love go little, say Wuxia, do it secretly. Who will know it's us? Don't forget he might have the Shantian Tower. If we take it back to our family, it'll be the greatest contribution, said Jianghu. Hearing Jianghu's words, Ji Yufeng's face lit up and he nodded. The Shantian Tower was the most precious treasure of Qingtian domain. If they took it back to Jianghu's family, it would be a great contribution. After arriving at Taiching domain, Night Sorrow's heart calmed down. This used to be the territory of Night Moon dynasty. His family used to live in this area. He wanted to carefully feel it. Night Sorrow went to a tea house and asked for a pot of tea. He found a seat by the window and sat down, looking at the map of the 9 domains and 18 prefectures. The Night Moon dynasty originally occupied a large area of the Grand Clarity domain, and the clan's core was the Night Moon Sky. Night Moon Sky was an island in the middle of the lake in the Night Moon City. It was also the true core area of the Night Moon Empire. Night Moon City was relatively far away from Taiching City, nearly 2 million miles away. There used to be a teleportation array, but since the Night Moon City was destroyed by the various dynasties, the teleportation array naturally no longer existed. Brother, may I have a seat? A man with blonde hair came to Night Sorrow's table. He touched his chest with his left hand and nodded at Night Sorrow. Sit. After sizing up the man, Night Sorrow nodded and pointed to the tea house opposite him. At this time, the business in the tea house was relatively good and there were no more seats. The blonde man looked at Night Sorrow and said, I like the light mist tea here. Every time I come to Taiching City, I'll ask for a pot. This is also my favorite spot. Sorry I took your seat. Night Sorrow's gaze moved from the map to the blonde man. The blonde man was very handsome and had a very bright aura. He had a very clean and pure smile on his face. What was strange was that he had 2 curved blades at his waist. Although this man looked harmless, Night Sorrow knew that this guy was definitely not a simple character. The curved blades at his waist were definitely powerful weapons. The blonde man noticed that Night Sorrow was looking at his curved blades, so he patted the hilt and said, Don't look at that. It's for enemies. In front of friends, it's a work of art. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this person was like him. If he didn't put his weapon in his storage ring, it was to cultivate compatibility. Could even be said that he believed in his weapon. His weapon was his companion. This is the light mist tea. Today I'll treat you to it. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for the blonde man. Only 8 original A, the others were all F. Stolen tea edition. The blonde man Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and asked, "My name is Yun Huang. May I ask for your name?" Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Yun Huang and said his name. Night Sorrow. I think I've heard of this name before. It's a little familiar. Yun Huang rubbed his slightly messy blonde hair and said. Night Sorrow just smiled. He didn't think that someone would be familiar with his name. Looking at the map. Does this mean that you don't know much about Taiching City? It doesn't matter. Let's not talk about other places, but I know all the big and small places in Taiching City. Although I haven't walked around much, you can ask me if you want to know anything. Yun Huang said while drinking tea. To be honest, Brother Yun, this is my first time in Taiching City. Night Sorrow said. He felt that Yun Huang was easier to get along with, so he spoke more casually. Alright, where do you want to go? I'll take you there. I've been free recently, so I came out to relax. Yun Huang said. Is that appropriate? Night Sorrow didn't expect Yun Huang to say that. It can't be more appropriate. Where do you want to go? We'll leave after drinking tea. Yun Huang took a sip of tea and said. I want to go to Night Moon Sky. Night Sorrow said. As he spoke, his eyes were fixed on Yun Huang. He mainly wanted to see the changes in Yun Huang's expression. Night Moon Sky. That was once the holy land of our Taiching City. However, it was destroyed by a group of dogs and chickens through treacherous means. I also yearn for it. This time, I'll accompany you and burn incense for the Night Moon Dynasty seniors who established the Taiching City's fame. Yun Huang exhaled and said, You're not hostile to the Night Moon Dynasty. You're surnamed Yun. You're from the Yun Dynasty? Night Sorrow guessed Yun Huang's identity. Yes, I'm from the Yun Dynasty. I, Yun Huang, am known as the Little Demon King. Yun Huang grinned at Night Sorrow with his snow-white teeth. Originally, I planned to stay for a few days before going. Since Brother Yun also wants to go, we'll leave after drinking tea. I'm not familiar with the roads, so we'll go wherever you want us to go. Night Sorrow said. Then Night Sorrow and Yun Huang left the inn and went directly to the teleportation array. Then, under Yun Huang's command, the two teleported to the Golden Dragon King Dynasty's Golden Dragon City. Then they teleported again and arrived at the border city of the Golden Dragon King Dynasty, Dragon Tail City. They're still close to 1,000,000 miles. However, we can't teleport anymore. We can only travel on flying monsters. Yun Huang said. There aren't any cities with teleportation arrays within 1,000,000 miles? Night Sorrow asked in astonishment. There aren't any. Back then, several dynasties joined forces to defeat the Night Moon Dynasty. The Night Moon Dynasty's territory was also divided. However, so what if they divided the territory? Who dares to construct the cities they conquered? No dynasty dares to do that. Although the Night Moon Dynasty was defeated, they're still alive. Who knows when they'll fight back? Yun Huang explained the reason for the current situation. So you're saying that the other dynasties are afraid of working for others? They're afraid that the Night Moon Dynasty will fight back? They're afraid that the areas they invested in will be taken back and all their efforts will be for naught? Night Sorrow understood the crux of the matter. Chapter 605. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. I still have some power left, Night Sorrow said as he let out a sigh. Your surname is Yi. Are you a descendant of Night Moon? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow seriously. Is that important? Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and asked. Permanent G exempt F Feezy look little, say 9-inch. It's not important, but I still hope that you are. Night Moon Dynasty's members are the most courageous group of people. Back then they were the #1 domain in the Taiching domain. What about now? Tianfeng Dynasty, Golden Dragon King Dynasty, they are all scum. Internal wars are fine, but external wars are trash, Yun Huang said. I have a mount. Do you? Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang. I really don't have one. But don't worry, we are out of the city. We can just grab one, Yun Huang said embarrassedly. You're going to catch them as you please? Yishan looked at Yun Huang in surprise. Let's go. You'll know in a moment. After Yun Huang finished speaking, he called for a beast carriage and called for Yishan to enter. My mount is rank 5. You can grab one, but can it keep up? Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang puzzled. After leaving the city, Yun Huang waved his arm and a shadow appeared. The shadow roared and disappeared. A moment later, a rank 2 gray wolf flew in front of Yun Huang. F***ck, can't you catch a better looking one? Yun Huang reached out and slapped Grey Wolf's head, then scolded. Night Sorrow was puzzled because everything in front of him was too strange. A rank 2 Grey Wolf could fly. No one would believe it. What Night Sorrow couldn't understand was that the Grey Wolf was full of oppressive death energy. Let's go. Let's talk as we go. Yun Huang's body flashed and landed on the Grey Wolf's back. He directly rode on the Grey Wolf's back. His legs were dangling, almost touching the ground. Once Yun Huang sat down, the Grey Wolf immediately rose into the air and flew forward at an extremely fast speed. Night Sorrow released Tianyu and chased after Yun Huang, who was riding the Grey Wolf. Look at his mount. Next time I'll F***king catch a better looking one. Yun Huang slapped Grey Wolf's head again, then looked at Night Sorrow in embarrassment. This thing doesn't know any better, it always embarrasses me. Yishang shook his head, unable to understand. Then Yun Huang told him about his treasure, the ghost wolf with the death attribute. It was a soul beast that Yun Huang had captured in the land of demons. It was currently at the mid-stage of stage 5 and was proficient in soul attacks. It was also proficient in control. Currently it was controlling the stage 2 Grey Wolf. So strong. Night Sorrow looked at the Grey Wolf that Yun Huang was sitting on and asked in surprise. Of course. That's why it casually caught a stage 5 mount. Actually, it's just a carrier for me to sit comfortably on. However, its worldview is very disgusting. It thinks that wolves are mighty. If I ask it to catch a demonic beast as a mount, it will definitely catch a wolf. Yun Huang said and slapped the Grey Wolf again. Fast. The Grey Wolf that the Ghost Wolf controlled was very fast. Although it couldn't be compared to Tianyu, it was just a little bit slower. Then how long can this Grey Wolf last? Night Sorrow asked as he sat on Tianyu's back. This has nothing to do with the Grey Wolf itself. Right now the Ghost Wolf is using its own energy to fly. If you don't want to destroy this Grey Wolf, you can just let it go. This Grey Wolf will be as good as sleeping and nothing will happen to it. We've ridden it for so long, why can't we kill it? Yun Huang rode the Grey Wolf and flew beside Tianyu, who had slowed down. It was as if he was riding a horse. Then what's the highest level of demonic beast that the Ghost Wolf can control? Night Sorrow asked. Demonic beasts below stage 5 are not a problem. Demonic beasts above stage 5 will depend on the strength of the soul. If you encounter a beast with a high soul strength, the most you can do is wipe out its soul. It won't be able to control it. Yun Huang said. Thank you for coming with me. I don't have much to thank you for. This is a stage 4 silver-winged eagle. Try it and see how it works. Night Sorrow threw a beast-taming crystal to Yun Huang. Then let's go down and study it. Yun Huang didn't argue. After receiving the beast-taming crystal, he controlled the Ghost Wolf to land. Night Sorrow controlled Tianyu to land as well. Yun Huang then communicated with the beast-taming crystal and made the silver-winged eagle recognize him as its master. A stage 4, stage 6 silver-winged eagle. Night Sorrow, you're awesome. This thing is useful to me. I can control both the silver-winged eagle and the Ghost Wolf. Normally, I can let the silver-winged eagle fly by itself. When I need speed, I can let the Ghost Wolf wrap around the silver-winged eagle and fly. As long as the eagle doesn't resist, it's cool and comfortable to sit on. Yun Huang liked the silver-winged eagle very much. After the silver-winged eagle recognized him as its master, he gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. After that, the two of them continued flying. However, Night Sorrow was still accommodating Yun Huang. Yun Huang was controlling the silver-winged eagle and the Ghost Wolf to work together. He couldn't let the Ghost Wolf hurt the silver-winged eagle. After all, the silver-winged eagle wasn't a demonic beast that would give up after using it once. Night Sorrow didn't know that not long after they left the Taiching region, Jiu Hao and Jiu Feng had bribed the guards of the teleporting formation and asked them where Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were teleporting to. After that, they chased them from the Golden Dragon City to the Dragon Tail City. When they arrived at the Dragon Tail City, Jiu Hao easily asked the guards about Night Sorrow and Yun Huang's whereabouts. Jiu Hao took out a map and glanced at it, then nodded and said, Night Sorrow, his surname is Yi. His target might be the Night Moon City. Let's go. This time they will die for sure. Jiu Hao and Jiu Feng were both venerables. They were much faster than Tianyu and the Ghost Wolf. They directly chased after Night Sorrow and Yun Huang. Brother, I have to go back to work after accompanying you for a while. I really don't like it, but I have no choice. Sitting on the silver-winged eagle's back, Yun Huang took out 2 jars of wine and threw one to Night Sorrow. What? Is there something you don't want to do? Night Sorrow opened the jar and asked. Yes, there are some things that I won't hide from you. Tianji Tower thinks highly of me and gave me a stupid position. I don't like it very much, but my old man said that if I dared to refuse, he would break my legs. You know, my old man has never spoken loudly to me since I was a child. Even if my old man yelled at me, my old man would stand up for me. So this time there is no room for discussion. Yun Huang sighed and said, "Since you said so, I'll tell you that I'm also a member of Tianji Tower. However, I still have a lot of freedom. As long as I don't betray Tianji Tower, I can do whatever I want." Night Sorrow said, "You're also a member of Tianji Tower? That's good. But let me tell you, you have to work hard. My status is not low. If we can't play together in the future, it will be boring." Yun Huang said, "We're friends, we're brothers. No matter what, we'll play together." Night Sorrow said. When he said this, Night Sorrow turned around because he found that someone was chasing after him. Yun Huang, hurry up and leave. These two are not friendly. Night Sorrow reminded Yun Huang. Chapter 606. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What are you talking about? Am I, Yun Huang, the kind of person who would abandon his friends and run away? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction, then looked at the two people chasing after him. After noticing their cultivation bases, Yun Huang's expression turned solemn. He was a peak void inquiry stage expert. Naturally, he could also see Ji Yuhao and Ji Yufeng's cultivation bases. At that moment, Ji Yuhao and Ji Yufeng flew over them as well, blocking their way. Night Sorrow's body flashed and left Tianyu's back. Tianyu's speed was fast, but he still couldn't surpass the Venerable One. At this time he could only fight. Yun Huang also kept the silver-winged eagle and stood beside Night Sorrow. Behind him there was a dark energy roaring. It was the ghost wolf. "Tell me your name." Night Sorrow extended his right hand and grabbed the reincarnation spear. At the same time he kept the void Dao stone into the spacetime treasure pagoda. "You should know my name, but when you see me your life will come to an end. I am Ji Yuhao." Ji Yuhao waved the long sword in his hand and said, "I've been to the Eastern Shen domain and the Medicine Valley, but I didn't find you. My name is Ji Yufeng." Ji Yufeng also took out his long sword. "Both of you are here, very good. Ji Yufeng, you and your people burned down Jiyuan town in Medicine Valley, didn't you? You even chopped off the arm of an old man with no cultivation base." Night Sorrow's murderous aura rippled. Love Gon little say if Night Sorrow had a deep grudge with anyone, it would be the two people in front of him. One was the culprit and the other was the executor. "That's right. This time, I'm not just going to cut off your arm, I'm going to kill you," said Ji Yufeng coldly. Yun Huang stepped back. "This has nothing to do with you." Night Sorrow waved his hand at Yun Huang. He did not want to drag Yun Huang down with him. "Today both of you will die." Ji Yuhao waved his long sword and said, "Brother, look. But they want to kill me as well. There's no other way. Let's fight." Yun Huang waved his hands and a pair of scimitars appeared. "Then you will die." Ji Yuhao snorted coldly and rushed towards Yishan. "I just can't stand people like you." Before Yishan could do anything, Yun Huang charged out. Yun Huang, who had rushed out, looked completely different. The sense of power coming from his body was no longer bright and handsome, but fierce and aggressive. The defensive power shield around his body was dark purple in color, with thunderbolts surging out from it, shaking off Ji Yuhao's space restraint. Seeing Yun Huang stop Ji Yuhao, Night Sorrow dashed towards Ji Yufeng. Two peak void inquiry stage cultivators against two venerables. They could only pick the weaker one first to have a chance. Therefore Night Sorrow chose to attack Ji Yufeng. Night Sorrow did not dare to delay any longer. He directly activated his void attribute and launched the 7-star brilliant moon spear at Ji Yufeng. Ji Yufeng wielded his long sword and slashed at Yishang. Yishang's peak void inquiry stage cultivation base was nothing to him. However, when their weapons were about to collide against each other, the situation changed. The sword chi released from Ji Yufeng's long sword was directly pushed aside by Yishang's spear light. This was the power of the void nature Jin Qi. Love go go shao shua 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 w. AI chu x. Their weapons clashed. Ji Yufeng was knocked back by Night Sorrow's 7-star brilliant moon spear. After that, Night Sorrow continued to dash forward. He wanted to defeat Ji Yufeng as soon as possible because he was worried that Yun Huang might not be able to withstand his attacks. As a matter of fact, Yun Huang couldn't hold on any longer. Ji Yu's cultivation was 3 levels higher than his, and he was also a venerable. Yun Huang was directly suppressed by Ji Yu. Fortunately, Yun Huang's protective air shield was filled with lightning, which could break through the venerable space restraint. Otherwise he would have been killed immediately. Moreover, the spirit wolf was constantly attacking Jiyu, which bought him time to dodge. Night Sorrow kept attacking with his spear, suppressing Jiyu Feng and forcing him to retreat. Then he observed Yun Huang and found that he could not hold on any longer. Feeling anxious, he directly activated his innate bloodline power and launched the space crack at Jiyu Feng. The energy of the space crack cut through the space and headed towards Jiyu Feng. Seeing that the situation was not good, Jiyu Feng immediately swung his sword to block the attack. Crack. Along with a crisp sound, Jiyu Feng's long sword was broken by the energy of the space crack. However, Jiyu Feng also got a chance to breathe. Although he was not directly hit by the space crack, a piece of flesh was cut off from his shoulder. After being injured by Night Sorrow, Jiyu Feng couldn't care less about his face and directly yelled, "Brother Hao, come help me. I can't hold on any longer." Moi YXN 9, Section. Super. Seeing that Jiyu Feng was injured, Jiyu Hao's body flashed and landed beside Night Sorrow. He swung his long sword towards Night Sorrow. Fast. Too fast. Night Sorrow could only swing his spear to block the attack. However, he was still one step too late. The reincarnation spear blocked Jiyu Hao's long sword, but the sword light pierced through his ribs and left a wound on his ribs. Night Sorrow took a few steps back and stood in front of Yun Huang. He pointed the reincarnation spear to his side and stared at Jiyu Hao. Yishang was shocked. His myriad Tao scripture had been broken by Jiyu Hao. Jiyu Hao was also shocked that his time sword chi didn't cut Night Sorrow in half. Time property? Yun Huang took a step forward and stood beside Night Sorrow. That's right. You two have seen my time sword skill, so both of you have to die. Jiyu Hao glanced at Jiyu Feng and said, "Time acceleration." Night Sorrow murmured. He now understood why Jiyu Hao was so fast just now. It was because of the time property. Also, Jiyu Hao was a Zun cultivator. His soul and Jin Qi had merged with the surroundings. Therefore his speed was extremely fast. That's right. It's the time property. Your speed is no different from a snail in front of me. Jiyu Hao had a cold smile on his face. Yishang and Yun Huang were nothing but playthings in front of him with the power of time. You shameless bastard. You didn't even look at me just now. Yun Huang was angry because Jiyu Hao looked down on him. Don't worry. The time property is not invincible. It won't be that easy to kill me. Come on. Night Sorrow let out a breath. A faint purple void property protective shield appeared, and the power of Desolates was running at full speed inside his body. Seeing Jiyu Hao's time sword skill, Night Sorrow became cautious. He knew that if it weren't for the fact that his body was strengthened by the power of Desolates, which counteracted most of the power of the time sword chi, he would have been cut in half. What's the point? In terms of cultivation, I am a Zun cultivator and you are an ant. In terms of property, I am the time property and you are trash. What makes you think you can fight with me for a woman? You must die today. Jiyu Hao gnashed his teeth and said, "Don't talk nonsense. We don't know who will win yet. Yun Huang, protect yourself." Yishang took a deep breath and rushed towards Jiyu Hao. Jiyu Hao waved his time sword skill and slashed towards Night Sorrow again. The time property sword chi was too fast. Fortunately, it slowed down a lot when it came within 10 feet of Night Sorrow. That was the area where Night Sorrow's void property Jin Qi could affect. Chapter 607. Geniuses Remember Love in 1 Second? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Night Sorrow's spear light was fierce and violent, but it couldn't reach Jiyu Hao, because Jiyu Hao was way too fast. Similarly, Jiyu Hao's attack couldn't do anything to Night Sorrow either. When his sword chi reached near Night Sorrow's body, it returned to its normal speed. This was a stalemate. Night Sorrow couldn't hurt Jiyu Hao, but Jiyu Hao couldn't suppress Night Sorrow either. This was the power of the void power. No matter what kind of power you had, as long as you were in the area affected by the void power, all your power would be nullified. #fast. Go. Jiyu Hao was shocked. He didn't think that his time sword chi would lose its advantage when it reached Night Sorrow. In fact, he knew that what he had learned was not time acceleration but time deceleration. As long as he was in the area affected by the void power, the flow of time would be slowed down. That was why his speed was so fast. Yishang could only hold on, but he couldn't change the situation. Since he couldn't kill Jiyu Hao, Yishang decided to kill Jiyu Feng first. As long as he could kill as many as he could. At the moment, Jiyu Feng and Yun Huang were still fighting. Jiyu Feng was one level higher than Yun Huang, but he didn't have any advantage at all. Yun Huang's defensive power shield was covered with lightning snakes. He ignored Ji Yufeng's unique space restriction and hacked his pair of machetes around Ji Yufeng, which made Ji Yufeng quite embarrassed. After dodging Ji Yuhao's sword chi, Night Sorrow shouted at Yun Huang and told him to step back. Next he activated his bloodline power and sent a space crack towards Ji Yufeng. After that, he dashed forward and activated his nature and man being one with the world, to suppress Ji Yufeng. Then he performed the 7-star glorious moon spear art, aiming at Ji Yufeng. Yun Huang of course knew what Night Sorrow meant. He stepped back and changed his target. He threw out 2 blade lights that were wrapped in lightning towards Ji Yuhao while commanding his spirit wolf to stop Ji Yuhao. Ji Yufeng was already scared when he saw Night Sorrow cast the space crack. He tried to dodge but was still affected by Night Sorrow's space restraint. Therefore he couldn't completely dodge and could only wield the broken sword to defend himself. Ji Yufeng was a cultivator, but he had just stepped into the stage. Therefore he wasn't much stronger than Night Sorrow. How could he possibly defend himself against Night Sorrow's space-cracking attack? Another section of the broken sword was cut off, and the protective shield was cut open. Ji Yufeng's face changed dramatically, and he hurriedly leaned his body to dodge. His upper body managed to dodge the attack, but one of his legs was cut off by Night Sorrow's space crack. After severely injuring Ji Yufeng with one move, Night Sorrow was now very close to Ji Yufeng. The reincarnation spear darted towards Ji Yufeng's throat along with an unstoppable momentum. You're courting death. Ji Yuhao's body flashed a few times in a row, dodging Yun Huang and the Hell Wolf's attacks. While approaching Night Sorrow, he also wielded his arm and sent out a stream of sword chi towards Night Sorrow. Sensing the sword chi slicing through the air, Night Sorrow pondered and made a decision. If he dodged, he would lose the chance to kill Ji Yufeng. If he didn't, he might be injured. Ji Yufeng's space and time sword chi was released with all of his power. Even if Night Sorrow defended himself with all of his power, it would still be hard for him to block it. The other option was to use the time and space tower to defend himself, but the tower would be exposed. Within a split second, Night Sorrow made up his mind. He would take the attack head-on. Night Sorrow boosted his defensive shield with the power of nothingness to the maximum, and covered his back with the power of desolation. Boom. With a single move, Night Sorrow shattered the remaining half of Ji Yufeng's short sword, sending Ji Yufeng flying backward while vomiting blood. However, Ji Yuhao's sword chi had also broken Night Sorrow's defensive shield, and once again sliced towards Night Sorrow's back. With the power of desolation, this sword chi didn't cause much damage to Night Sorrow's body. However, it still left a deep wound on Night Sorrow's back. Take care of him for me. Night Sorrow turned around and yelled at Yun Huang. Meanwhile, he sent out a space crack towards Ji Yuhao. After the space crack was sent out, Night Sorrow immediately launched a soul-destroying cut. At the moment, Night Sorrow was fighting with all of his power. As long as he could hold his ground, he would be able to take advantage of Ji Yufeng. He knew that Ji Yufeng, who was badly injured, would not be able to stop Yun Huang. After Night Sorrow sent out the space crack, the space was cut open, and the energy of the space crack reached Ji Yuhao within a blink of an eye. Ji Yuhao's expression changed as he hurriedly stepped back. His time deceleration didn't have much effect on Night Sorrow's space crack. While stepping back, Ji Yuhao sent out a few sword chi streams in a row to neutralize the space crack. Right after he neutralized Night Sorrow's space crack, Ji Yuhao suddenly dodged sideways, because he sensed the soul-destroying cut. Ji Yuhao's continuous stepping back gave Night Sorrow a chance to hold his ground. Night Sorrow controlled the power inside his body to seal the wound and stop the blood from flowing out. At the same time, Yun Huang also made some progress. With the help of the spirit wolf, Yun Huang took care of Ji Yufeng, who was badly injured, in just a short while. Yun Huang held Ji Yufeng's collar with his left hand, and put the machete against his neck with his right hand. He walked up to Night Sorrow and said, "This guy is here. What should we do?" Night Sorrow reached out his left hand and grabbed Ji Yufeng, bringing him to his front. "Let him go or you'll both die." Ji Yuhao looked at Night Sorrow and Yun Huang with a dark face. "Forget about it. It's not the first time you said that. If bragging could kill people, we wouldn't be standing here." Yun Huang yelled back. Night Sorrow raised the reincarnation spear with his right hand and cut off Ji Yufeng's finger, which was wearing a storage ring. He then threw the ring to Yun Huang. "Stop." Ji Yuhao yelled out. "Shut up." Night Sorrow raised his head and threw a glare at Ji Yuhao, then grabbed Ji Yufeng and put him in front of himself. "You better let me go or the Ji Yu family won't let you go." Ji Yufeng's face was pale as he looked at Night Sorrow with his teeth clenched. I don't expect the Ji family to let me go, and I'm not going to let the Ji family go. When you burned down the town, did you think about today? When you cut off my father's arm, did you think about today? After asking a few questions, Night Sorrow swung the reincarnation spear and cut off Ji Yufeng's neck. Next, he wielded the reincarnation spear and chopped off Ji Yufeng's head, body, and soul. Are you really going to kill him? Yun Huang paused for a second. He thought Night Sorrow would try to negotiate, but now he directly chopped off Ji Yufeng's head. Why not? We weren't scared when there were only 2 of them. Now that there's only 1 left, why should we be scared of him? Night Sorrow glanced at Ji Yufeng's body, which was falling from the sky, then waved the reincarnation spear and looked at Ji Yuhao again. You have to die. Ji Yuhao's face turned pale. Ji Yufeng was his cousin, but now he died in front of him. Yun Huang, protect yourself. Today I'd like to see how he's going to kill me. Night Sorrow waved the reincarnation spear and said. Alright, it'll be hard for him to kill me. Yun Huang waved his arm and the ghost wolf appeared beside him. Chapter 608. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Come on. Ji Yuhao, your cultivation is high and your nature is strong. Let's see how you can kill me. When Night Sorrow checked his wounds, he found that there was a special kind of energy inside his body that was helping him heal. Night Sorrow knew that it was the power of the spirit medicine. Ji Yuhao roared and rushed towards Night Sorrow again. Night Sorrow activated his Void Nature defensive energy shield and started to fight with Ji Yuhao in the air. Ji Yuhao was fast and most of Night Sorrow's attacks missed. However, he couldn't do anything to Night Sorrow. Seeing that he couldn't do anything to Ji Yuhao, Night Sorrow started to defend himself. This way he wouldn't consume as much energy, but he would occasionally use the Space Crack and the Soul Slash. Night Sorrow's Space Crack and the Soul Slash still posed a great threat to Ji Yuhao, because the Time Nature didn't affect the space energy too much, and so did the Soul Slash. However, because of the Time Nature, Ji Yuhao could dodge in advance. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow's cultivation was not as high as Ji Yuhao's. Ji Yuhao could control a large area so he could prepare in advance. Consume? I will consume you to death. Ji Yuhao said through gritted teeth. Come on. Night Sorrow didn't care about Ji Yuhao's threat at all. He wasn't afraid of a battle of attrition. The 2 fought in the air for half an hour, and Night Sorrow had consumed a lot of energy. Night Sorrow, come down. I'll fight with him. Seeing that Night Sorrow was exhausted, Yun Huang shouted. He was worried that Night Sorrow couldn't handle it. No need. Let's see who consumes who. Night Sorrow decisively switched his energy source, using the power of the Myriad Tao Bible and his own physical strength to fight with Ji Yuhao. However, because Night Sorrow's cultivation base was not as powerful as his Zhen Qi, he was immediately suppressed by Ji Yuhao. However, Ji Yuhao was still unable to defeat Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow would use his Zhen Qi to fight, as well as the Space Crack and the Soul Destruction Cut. However, in the middle of the transition, Night Sorrow's left rib was struck by a sword Qi. However, with the protection of the Void Attribute Qi, the injury wasn't serious. After fighting for a while, the 2 of them were almost exhausted. Let's see how long you can last. Ji Yuhao shouted with a twisted face. Take as long as you want. I still have some Spirit Spring Spirit Liquid and Spiritual Essence Liquid. Night Sorrow took out a drop of Spiritual Essence Liquid and swallowed it. Then, under Ji Yuhao's shocked gaze, Night Sorrow quickly returned to his peak condition. Night Sorrow, who had recovered to his peak state, started attacking Ji Yuhao. Next time I see you, I will kill you. Ji Yuhao dodged a few spear lights from Night Sorrow and flashed away. Remember, this is not the end between us. Yishang looked at Ji Yuhao's back and shouted. He didn't chase after him because it was useless. Ji Yuhao's cultivation base was much faster than his and Tianyu's, and he also had the power of time. It was impossible to catch up with him. Good dog. Don't run if you have balls. Yun Huang shouted. Night Sorrow looked at Ji Yuhao and didn't say anything. He knew that Ji Yuhao was a strong opponent. Night Sorrow, are you okay? Yun Huang came to Night Sorrow and asked. Just some superficial wounds, but we still won. Night Sorrow glanced at Ji Yufeng's body and said. Good for you. You can even take that. But this guy's time attribute is crazy. In fact, his time attribute is not time acceleration but time deceleration. As long as our attacks get close to him, they will be slowed down by his time attribute. He can handle it with ease. Yun Huang was shocked. If he were in Jiyu Hao's shoes, he would never be able to withstand Jiyu Hao's attacks. He would be killed in a short while. Good, it's just some superficial wounds. Don't worry. Night Sorrow took off his torn robe and put on a clean one. What kind of body is this? Your wounds have already scabbed over? Noticing Night Sorrow's back and ribs, Yun Huang couldn't believe his own eyes. My body is strong, but it's just the surface. His sword chi is still destroying my body. I need to take care of it. Next, I'll let Tianyu fly with the silver-winged eagle. Night Sorrow let Tianyu out and said. After that, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang continued their journey. Sitting cross-legged on Tianyu's back, Night Sorrow began to heal his wounds. Since the power of Desolates came from the same source as the time attribute, Night Sorrow began to use the power of Desolates to refine the energy left in Jiyu Hao's body. After flying for a day, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang set up camp. Night Sorrow roasted the deer that Tianyu had hunted. Are you okay? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm fine, but I still need some time to fully recover. The time attribute sword chi is really strong. If I can't suppress it, it will destroy my body. Night Sorrow said. Jiyu's family is really shameless. 2 venerables came to kill us. They really think highly of us. Yun Huang was angry because Jiyu Hao's actions were very embarrassing. Normally, venerables wouldn't do such things. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's nothing. How did you offend such a crazy dog? Yun Huang asked while helping Night Sorrow to roast the meat. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything. There was nothing to hide, so he told Yun Huang about the conflict with Jiyu's family. Damn, they don't like it, but they're still so shameless. They can even kill ordinary people. I really can't describe them. Yun Huang said. The problem now is whether they can continue to mobilize more people to attack us. If they send more high-level venerables, we won't be able to hold them off. Night Sorrow expressed his concern. 5p only G first positive VD version 0% his plus I he KZ all is a thief percent. Version, this is indeed a big problem. You can say that it's a crisis for both of us. They have no bottom line. They can do anything. Yun Huang nodded. Today's situation was already very lucky. If they sent more venerables, they would be in big trouble. It's hard to say if they can chase us down or not. After all, it's not easy to chase 2 people in this vast wasteland. How about this, we can find a place and hide for 10 days to half a month. Even if they want to chase us down, they'll avoid us. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said. Alright, then we'll find a safe place to stay. You can also heal your wounds. Yun Huang nodded. After roasting the deer, the 2 of them began drinking and talking about what they had seen. There's something else. This is that guy's storage ring. Yun Huang threw Ji Yufeng's storage ring to Night Sorrow. This time I dragged you into this mess. Take this as compensation. Yi Shang threw Ji Yufeng's storage ring to Yun Huang again. Don't say that. Since we're brothers who fought together, there's no need to be so polite. Take it. Yun Huang threw the storage ring to Night Sorrow again and said seriously. Chapter 609. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with interesting novels to read. Ji Yufeng was quite rich. He had over 200 pieces of top-grade spirit stones and some other kinds of magic pills. Among them, there were 2 pieces of magic crystals with the nature of thunder. One was light purple, while the other was dark purple. Love, go little, say, web, chew. Then the 2 of them began to divide the crystals. Looking at the 2 thunder-attributed crystals, Yun Huang picked up the dark purple one and said, Dark thunder-attributed crystal, it matches my attribute. It's mine. You don't want this one? Night Sorrow looked at the other thunder-attributed crystal and asked. One for each of us. That one contains too much purple flame thunder energy. It's not suitable for me, said Yun Huang. Then I'll take it. My 9th sister is also my fiancée. She has the purple flame thunder attribute. Night Sorrow put away the purple flame thunder attributed crystal and said, Not bad, senior sister. You're good. Yun Huang gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Yishang only smiled. He knew that Yun Huang was a happy-go-lucky and outspoken person, but there was absolutely no problem with his character. After each of them drank a jar of wine, the 2 of them changed their direction and flew for 2 hours. They found a suitable place to camp. It's my first time hiding from someone. How frustrating. This is not over yet. After setting up a big tent with Night Sorrow, Yun Huang cursed. Then the 2 of them talked for a while, then sat down to cultivate. Night Sorrow needed to heal himself and continue to absorb the sword chi of time that Jiyu left in his body. Jiyu returned to Dragontail City, then took the teleportation formation back to Taiching City, to his family's stronghold. In the stronghold, Jiyu told Ji Yuanhang what happened today. You can't make any mistakes. Don't get involved in this. I'll go and take a look. If I see them, I'll definitely kill them, said Ji Yuanhang with hatred, because Ji Yufeng was his big brother's youngest son. It'll be difficult to chase after them. After all, it's hard to find people in the vast wasteland. If Uncle wants to go, then bring some people and block them outside Dragontail City. They'll definitely come back, said Ji Yuhao. They didn't know that Yao Yang had also brought a few people to the Taiching domain and even to Dragontail City. It was too easy for Qianji Tower to investigate some things. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang would drink and chat when they had nothing to do. The rest of the time they would cultivate. Night Sorrow had been healing himself the whole time. Ji Yuhao's sword power of time was very hard to deal with. It took him 3 days to fully absorb the sword power of time inside his body and return to his peak condition. The two of them stayed for half a month before they once again set off towards the night moon. I'm so angry just thinking about it. The Venerable showed off his power to us. He's really shameless. Yun Huang, who felt very wronged, cursed again. What are you angry about? Didn't he run away in the end? Think about it from another perspective. He's more wrong than us. 2 Venerables came, but we killed one and the other escaped. He'll probably fly into a rage when he gets back. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Killing Ji Yufeng to avenge Gugu's father made him very happy. It could be said that Night Sorrow solved a problem. That's true. If you think about it this way, we're the ones who took advantage of him. You should be angry and sad. It's worth celebrating. Come and get the wine. Yun Huang, who was sitting on the back of the silver-winged eagle, waved at Night Sorrow. In the beginning, Yun Huang drank his own wine, but after drinking Night Sorrow's wine, he didn't like his wine anymore. Night Sorrow took out a jar of green blood wine and threw it over. There are 2 sides to everything. It's easy to misunderstand if you only see one side. Besides, they're venerables and they didn't do anything to us. When we enter the venerable realm, it'll be even harder for them to kill us. Love Go Little Say W. Chu. However, that guy's attributes are indeed abnormal. If we can't restrain him, he can rely on his speed to stay in an invincible position. Yun Huang sighed and said, there's nothing that can't be solved. We can slowly think about it. Night Sorrow didn't think that the time attribute was scary. The power of desolates and the innate bloodline power were comparable to the time attribute. The void attribute even surpassed the time attribute and suppressed it. Okay, I don't think there's any danger on the way. However, we have to be careful on the way back to Dragontail City. They might block the road, Yun Huang said. Yishang nodded. He had thought about this before, but he planned to go to Yiyuetian to take a look first. The 2 of them traveled during the day and rested at night to cultivate. They weren't very tired. Half a month later, the 2 of them arrived in the vicinity of Night Moon City. The battle had affected a wide area, causing the area to be very desolate. Some small cities had been severely damaged. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang entered a small city called Wuyo City. This small city was only 2,000 miles away from Night Moon City. After entering the desolate city, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang found a tea house. Why is it so desolate? Night Sorrow asked after ordering a pot of tea. Because the owner of this area hasn't returned. The owner of the tea house sighed and said. Night Sorrow lowered his head and took a deep breath. It's so desolate. If we don't rebuild it, everyone's living conditions will be lowered. Only and N is the original HF version, FS is the original, his QE is the pirated version. So what if it's lowered? Lowering living conditions in exchange for being able to fight when needed. It's worth it. The owner of the tea house glanced at Night Sorrow and left. There wasn't much business in the tea house because almost no cultivators came here. The people who lived here were all natives. They exchanged all their wealth for battle resources and waited for the Night Clan to return. Because even if they build it now, they can't withstand the robbery of other forces. Yun Huang said. Their faith hasn't changed. After so many years, their fighting spirit hasn't decreased. They're still waiting for battle. It's rare and precious. Night Sorrow's blood was boiling because these were the people of Night Moon Dynasty. Their obsession hadn't changed after so many years. After drinking tea, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang left the tea house and walked in the city. Desolate, with a sense of vicissitudes. There's no Wuyo at all. The damage left by the dynasties is too great. Yun Huang said. Maybe this really was Wuyo City back then. Night Sorrow said. Of course. This used to be Prince Wuyo's territory. It's the real Wuyo city. Although Prince Wuyo and young concubine are gone, we Night Moon people are still here. This is still Wuyo city. An old man with a walking stick heard Night Sorrow and Yun Huang's conversation and said, "With faith and obsession, this will always be Wuyo city." Night Sorrow said with some emotion, "Can you let me see the jade pendant on your waist?" The old man was originally hunchbacked. When he saw the jade pendant on Night Sorrow's waist, he immediately straightened his back. His turbid eyes flashed. Yishang looked at the old man and met his gaze. He didn't know who this old man was. This was the former core of Night Moon dynasty. Night Sorrow had to consider whether there were people from other dynasties here. Chapter 610. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow nodded and took off the jade pendant from his waist. He glanced at it and handed it to the old man. Blood thread jade. This is the real jade pendant of the royal family. I am Gujun. May I know if this jade pendant belongs to you or? The old man said as he held the jade pendant with trembling hands. Let's find a place to talk. Night Sorrow knew that this old man should be an old man from the Night Moon dynasty. His emotional fluctuations could not be faked. After that, the old man called Gu Jun brought Night Sorrow and Yun Huang to a small inn. The small inn didn't seem to have any signs of life, but looking at the antique carvings on the lintel and the 2 pillars, as well as the sandalwood chairs in the inn, Night Sorrow knew that this must have been a very elegant and high-class inn in the past. Can you tell me more about this jade pendant? Night Sorrow asked. You have to tell me where this jade pendant came from before I can decide how much to tell you. Gu Jun had been sizing up Night Sorrow. That's fine too. This is a jade pendant that I've always carried with me since I was a child. I don't know the specifics, but I can tell you in detail. Night Sorrow then told him about how he had been adopted in the eastern Shen region. According to this, do you think you are Night Moon's descendant? Gu Jun looked into Night Sorrow's eyes and asked. Yes, so please enlighten me. Love go little say. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Gu Jun. You might be the descendant of Night Moon. However, it's only a possibility. I don't know if you're telling the truth, so I can't tell you too much. Gu Jun shook his head and said. You're being a little unreasonable. My brother has said so much to you and this is your answer? Yun Huang said somewhat angrily. I'm sorry. It's true that this jade pendant is from Wuyo City. You have the jade pendant, but it's still lacking in other areas. Gu Jun said after pondering for a while. Ai, give me back my jade pendant. Night Sorrow was helpless. This old man called Gu Jun obviously knew a lot of things, but he didn't say anything. This is the jade pendant of Prince Wuyo from Wuyo City. Please cherish it. Gu Jun hesitated for a moment before handing the jade pendant to Night Sorrow. Yes or no, I don't need to prove anything. I just need to do what I should do. Night Sorrow didn't want to force this stubborn old man, so he shook his head and left the inn. The Night Moon Empire is already in such a state. Who needs to pretend? Interesting. Yun Huang glanced at Gu Jun before following Night Sorrow out of the inn. Unless you have the bloodline talent of the Night Moon Empire, no one will know anything from the Night Moon people. Gu Jun said as he looked at Yishan's back. That's right, Gu Jun said as he looked at Yishan's back. Night Sorrow thought for a while and felt that this old man called Gu Jun was definitely not a problem. He turned around and unleashed his bloodline talent, causing a spatial rend to appear on the empty street. After the spatial rend was unleashed, a black spatial rend appeared in front of Night Sorrow and extended far away. Spatial rend. This is the spatial rend that only the direct descendants of the Night Moon Empire can unleash. Greetings, young master. The old man, who was Gu Jun, trembled and his eyes were filled with astonishment. In the end, tears appeared in his eyes as he knelt on one knee and greeted Night Sorrow. You're thinking too much. I'm not a young master. I just want to know how much you can tell me if this jade pendant belongs to me. Night Sorrow helped Gu Jun up from behind. Young master, please come in. Gu Jun bowed and led Night Sorrow and Yun Huang into the inn. Can you tell me now? Night Sorrow looked at Gu Jun and asked. Other than your family name, there are 7 cloud patterns at the bottom of your jade pendant. This is a jade pendant that only the direct descendants of the Night Moon Empire can possess. It is also the highest grade jade pendant. Behind it is the family totem and below it is the pattern of Wuyo. The 5 lines in the pattern are obviously thicker. This proves that young master is the 5th generation, the 5th direct descendant of the Night Moon Empire of Wuyo City. Gu Jun said. How many fifth-generation descendants are there in Wuxia City? Night Sorrow asked as he touched the jade pendant. There's only one person. This means that the owner of this jade pendant is young master. Gu Jun said. There are so few direct descendants in the Night Moon Empire? Yun Huang asked in astonishment. No, the other branches have many descendants. However, Wuxia only has one descendant. I'm not sure about the previous generations, but the undefeated King Prince Ling Huan's generation had only one descendant. Prince Wuxia's generation has only one descendant. Young Master's generation also has only one descendant. Gu Jun explained slowly. With Gu Jun's explanation, Night Sorrow had a better understanding of the hierarchy in the Night Moon Empire. If the second generation entered the honorable realm or made outstanding contributions to the empire, they would be conferred the title of emperor. If the third generation entered the honorable realm or made outstanding contributions, they would be conferred the title of prince. If the fourth generation reached a certain level, they would be conferred the title of prince. Their wives would be addressed differently too. They would be addressed as imperial concubine, princess concubine, young concubine. As for the rest, no matter how high their seniority was, as long as they were not at that level, they would be addressed as young master. Their wives would be addressed as madam. Back then, the city lord of Wuxia City, Yi Wuxia, was conferred the title of Prince Wuxia. He married the daughter of the city lord of Beiyu City. After their child was born, they went to Beiyu City to visit their relatives. When the war broke out, Gu Jun was one of Yi Wuxia's followers. Hence, he was very clear about it. At the critical moment, Yi Wuxia used the spatial ren to send his 2 guards and young master away from the battlefield. After that, he and his wife engaged in a bloody battle with the enemy. However, as they were outnumbered, they could only retreat with his wife and a portion of his followers. At most D. New Chapter, Section L above you J/. When Yi Wuxia and his wife retreated to the Night Moon Empire, the war broke out. After that, Gu Jun never saw Yi Wuxia and his wife again until today. Then I don't understand. Young master could be Night Sorrow. If he was sent away by Prince Wuxia using the spatial rend, how could his guards be killed? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and asked. This is not hard to understand. After tearing the spatial rend, Prince Wuxia did not enter. Instead, he used the spatial rend to send the 3 of them away. Under such circumstances, it could only be a short-distance teleportation. This would require the guards to have the spatial rend crystal with them. If they could open the spatial rend again, the enemy could still chase after them. Gu Jun said. The space-breaking crystal was a kind of magic treasure unique to the Night Moon dynasty. It was made by a high-level cultivator of the Night Moon clan by injecting the power of space into it. Night Sorrow took out a map and looked at it. After looking at it, Night Sorrow closed his eyes and stabilized his emotions. Beiyu City was in the northwest corner of the Taiqing domain. It was not far from the southern Sky City in the southeast corner of the eastern Xian domain. That means Prince Wuxia and young concubine did not die in the battle? After a while, Night Sorrow looked at Gu Jun with a hopeful gaze and asked. This old servant does not dare to say. As servants, we know too little about that battle. After all, those who can enter the Night Moon Empire are all titled. There are only a limited number of people who do not have titles. Servants do not have the opportunity to know. Gu Jun said. At this moment, Night Sorrow could almost confirm his identity. After receiving this information, Night Sorrow bowed to Gu Jun. Young master, please don't. This old servant used to be the manager of the city lord's mansion. How would I dare to accept such a bow from young master? Gu Jun saw Night Sorrow bowing to him and quickly bowed back. Night Sorrow, Prince Wuxia and young concubine should be fine. They might have left along with their family strategy. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and said. He was worried that Night Sorrow would take things too hard. Chapter 611. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with interesting novels to read. I believe they will be fine. Uncle Gu Jun, I will go to the Night Moon Sky later to take a look. Night Sorrow said. Young master, please don't call me that. The Night Moon Sky is very dangerous. I don't know for the past few years, but the people from the other empires have been monitoring that place to see if there are any core members of the Night Moon Empire. It's better if young master doesn't go. Gu Jun said. No. I must go. Night Sorrow shook his head and said. This old servant will make a trip first. Young master, please stay in this inn first, said Gu Jun. That's not appropriate. Night Sorrow wouldn't let Gu Jun take the risk. It's okay. I will go to the Night Moon City to pay my respects every year. Although I haven't entered the Night Moon sky, I can still find out the general situation. Gu Jun said. Night Sorrow, let's do as Uncle Gu Jun says. This is more appropriate. After all, we have just caused trouble. Yun Huang said. Young master, please follow me. Gu Jun brought Night Sorrow and Yun Huang to the inn and arranged a room for them before leaving. Night Sorrow, I thought that you were the descendant of the Night Moon Empire. However, I didn't expect you to be the most direct descendant. After hearing Gu Jun's words, Yun Huang was greatly shocked. Actually, this isn't important. Whether I am the direct descendant or not, I will fight. As long as I am alive, the enemies of the Night Moon Empire will have to pay the price. Night Sorrow said. Brother, the Yun family empire and the Night Moon Empire are allies. Don't bear grudges. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and quickly explained. I know. I even met the king of the Yun family empire a while ago. Night Sorrow said. You've seen our family's old man? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs.com Yun Tianlong is your grandfather? Then your seniority must be very high? Yi Shang looked at Yun Huang and sized him up. My grandfather was the youngest son of the old master. However, due to a congenital deficiency, he was unable to cultivate. Due to his short lifespan, he passed away a long time ago. Thus, the old master valued my father a lot. As for me, I am my father's youngest son. You know what I mean, Yun Huang said with a smile. After the two of them drank their tea, they strolled around the worry-free city casually. See, original Yu chapter on DD. Wuxia City was desolate, barren, and devoid of people. But looking at the buildings, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang knew that it must have been very prosperous in the past because the buildings in the city were very stylish. When the two of them arrived at the city lord's mansion, they found that there was no one inside, but it was very clean. Night Sorrow could be sure that there were people cleaning this place every day. There's no need to look around. As long as there are people here, there won't be any problems when this place becomes prosperous again in the future. Yun Huang said. He knew what Gu Jun said today. The situation in Wuxia City still had a huge impact on Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. The two of them did not continue to stroll around. After that, they returned to the inn to meditate and rest. Night Sorrow was now cultivating in several aspects at the same time. Since his true chi had reached the 9th grade void inquiry stage, he could not cultivate at full speed. He could only cultivate while accumulating his chi. After waiting for 5 days, Gu Jun finally returned. At this moment, Night Sorrow was actually very anxious. When he saw Gu Jun, Night Sorrow asked him about the situation. Gu Jun came back late. Firstly, it was because the journey was still a little far. Secondly, he was very meticulous in his observation. Hence, it was a waste of time. The information that Gu Jun brought back was that the night moon was very quiet. There was nothing unusual. However, there were still people who frequently went to the Night Moon City to pay their respects. After receiving the news that it was safe, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang left the inn and headed towards the Night Moon City. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang only used half a day to travel a distance of less than 3,000 li *, 500 m per li. The Night Moon City occupied an area of several thousand li *, 500 m per li. However, it was already in a dilapidated state. However, from the majestic city walls and city gates, one could see how powerful the Night Moon dynasty was in the past. Night Sorrow felt that the overall scale of the Night Moon City was not much different from Taiching City. Night Sorrow, let's calm down a little. The people of the Night Moon dynasty just retreated. It's not like they were annihilated. They will definitely fight back. Yun Huang said. I know. I'm very calm. Actually, I came here this time mainly because I want to see the place where my family used to live and find out about them. As for the defeat, it's just in the past. It's nothing. If we lost in the past, we'll just have to win in the future. Night Sorrow's face was very calm. This was the state of mind. As his state of mind improved, Night Sorrow could face some things calmly. In other words, there were very few things that could affect Night Sorrow. The Night Moon City did not have any defenses. It could even be said that there were no guards. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang directly walked in. Currently, the Night Moon City was in a special situation. There were no supreme experts. Even if the Night Moon dynasty still had supreme experts, they would not easily appear. As for the threat of demonic beasts attacking the city, there was no such thing. During the peak of the Night Moon dynasty, all the high-level demonic beasts within tens of thousands of miles had been cleared. If low-level demonic beasts attacked the city, the cultivators in the city could resist them. As for the high-level cultivators of the other dynasties, they would not come here. This was because the wealth here was either taken away by the people of the Night Moon dynasty or plundered. The high-level cultivators came here to monitor the situation of the Night Moon dynasty. This was also something that happened more than 10 years ago. In these few decades, the Night Moon dynasty did not make any moves. The other dynasties also did not pay attention to it. That would be a waste of energy. Walking in the Night Moon city, Night Sorrow looked around. He knew that there were traces of his parents here. Yun Huang did not speak along the way. He kept looking around vigilantly. He knew that Night Sorrow looked calm, but his mind was not focused. His thoughts were chaotic, so he had to rely on him for safety. The Night Moon city was very big. Night Sorrow did not look for a beast carriage. The two of them walked slowly on the streets. Yun Huang, who understood Night Sorrow's situation, quietly followed behind Night Sorrow. After walking for 4 hours, Night Sorrow smiled embarrassedly at Yun Huang. Then he called for a beast carriage and rushed towards the Night Moon dynasty. Noticing Night Sorrow's smile, Yun Huang felt more at ease. This was because he knew that Night Sorrow's state of mind had returned to normal. He had walked out of his contemplation and reminiscence. In the afternoon, the two of them arrived at the Night Moon city. Night Moon dynasty. When Night Sorrow paid the fee, the beast carriage driver took half of the fee. Since you are here, please do not blaspheme the Night Moon dynasty. Looking at the back of the carriage driver, Night Sorrow felt a sour feeling in his heart. A carriage driver, an ordinary carriage driver, was also contributing silently to the Night Moon dynasty. Not for anything else, but to prevent the Night Moon dynasty from being blasphemed. Such a dynasty will definitely rise again. This is because glory and faith are already in their blood, in their bones. Yun Huang was also touched. Chapter 6:12. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The central area of the Night Moon city was the Night Moon Lake. The area of the Night Moon Lake was very large, spanning hundreds of miles. At the center was an island with a radius of hundreds of miles. That was the core area of the Night Moon Empire, the Night Moon Sky. At this time, the Night Moon Sky was full of broken beams and tiles. It was not that the people of the Night Moon did not want to repair it, but even if they repaired it, it would still be destroyed. In order to not be trampled on, the people of the Night Moon decided not to repair and build. Following an ancient stone bridge, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang walked towards the island. Night Sorrow reached out and touched the gap in the railing of the stone bridge. He flicked his finger twice. That was the gap caused by the sputtering of energy during the battle. That was the mark of a battle. Closing his eyes to calm his emotions, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang walked along the stone bridge towards the Night Moon. The two of them walked like ordinary people. Half an hour later, they arrived at the Night Moon. After looking around at the dilapidated scene, the two of them walked towards the center of the Night Moon. The wind from the lake blew against Yishang's robes, causing them to flutter. Yishang would occasionally look at the rubble that had been cleared out of the building. There were all sorts of energy slashes on it. An hour later, Night Sorrow arrived at a plaza. Behind the plaza was a destroyed palace. The square had been cleared out. In the middle of the square was a huge inscription with the words Night Moon's heroic spirit written on it. In front of it was a large cauldron with incense still burning in it. Everything told of the tragedy and injustice of that year. Night Sorrow reached out and touched the inscription. Then he realized that the dark purple words on it were not dye at all, but blood. Yun Huang lit 2 incense sticks that were prepared by someone beside the cauldron and placed them on the platform in front of the cauldron. Then he took out a few incense sticks and handed them to Night Sorrow. With a flick of his finger, Night Sorrow ignited the incense with his alchemic fire and inserted it into the cauldron. Night Sorrow, let's kowtow a few times. Yun Huang said. No. I don't have the qualifications to kneel and kowtow in front of them now, but in the future I will formally greet them. Night Sorrow waved his hand and quietly stood in front of the cauldron, looking at the inscription. After standing for a while, Night Sorrow brought Yun Huang to the damaged palace. There was a rectangular groove on the lintel of the main hall. Not far away there was a cracked stone plaque with 4 words on it, Never Setting Night Moon. A crack appeared on the stone plaque, and the 4 words on it were chopped off, leaving behind an energy ravine. Night Sorrow squatted down and wiped the dust off the horizontal board as if he was wiping a treasure. Ai go shao shua 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 w. Ai chuex. After glancing at Night Sorrow, Yun Huang went to the side and found a large rock. Then he waved his scimitar and cut the rock. Then he started digging on top of it and made a groove according to the size of the stone plaque. Nodding at Yun Huang, Yi Shang moved the broken stone plaque into the card slot and embedded it properly. This way the stone plaque would be protected. Thank you, brother. One day I will hang this plaque here again. Whoever stops me I will kill them. Night Sorrow's aura exploded, and his battle intent rippled in all directions. Good. If there's a battle, remember to count me in. Yun Huang patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and said, I thought you would persuade me. Night Sorrow nodded at Yun Huang and kept the plaque in his storage ring. Why should I persuade you? I believe you can do it. It's just that it might be a little difficult. Yun Huang smiled at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang did not leave. The two of them walked around the island and came to the back of the night moon. Behind the night moon was a spatial hole filled with chaotic energy. The two of them could see the churning black seawater in the hole. Translator. Nyoibo Studio Editor. Nyoibo Studio. This was the place where the Night Moon Dynasty came from. It was also the origin of the Night Moon Dynasty, the Night Moon Sea. This is the forbidden area of the Night Moon tribe. Without the spatial Ren skill, you can't break through the chaotic spatial energy. Without the spatial energy protection you can't survive. Yun Huang said. After a while, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang returned to the front of the monument. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and passed it to Yun Huang. He took out another jar of wine for himself and poured half of it in front of the monument. Then he drank the rest in one gulp. Yun Huang did the same as Night Sorrow. Ancestors of the Night Moon clan, you can rest in peace. Leave the battle to Night Sorrow. As long as I don't fall, Night Sorrow will definitely regain the glory that belongs to the Night Moon Dynasty. Night Sorrow shouted. You're back. That's enough. Yun Huang nodded. Shameless boasting. A remnant dares to speak. A black-clothed man appeared in front of Night Sorrow and Yun Huang. This guy is a level 3 honorable. Yun Huang said to Night Sorrow. He had a special detection technique that could detect the cultivation of an opponent who was less than 5 ranks higher than him. Don't worry. You should at least tell me where you're from. Night Sorrow shook his waist and the reincarnation spear appeared in his hand. He stared at the black-clothed man. Tianfeng Dynasty, Qinhaoren. A long sword appeared in the black-clothed man's hand. Your Tianfeng Dynasty is still monitoring this place. Looks like you don't plan to let this go. Night Sorrow said. You're unlucky. Because today is the Night Moon night, the remnant of the Night Moon tribe came to pay respects to their ancestors. I came to see if there were any true remnants of the Night Moon tribe. I didn't expect to see you here. Destroy your cultivation and I'll spare your life. Qinhaoren looked at Night Sorrow and said. It was already dark. There were many people outside the square. They were all citizens of the Night Moon King City who came to pay respects to their ancestors. All right. I don't know if I'm the unlucky one or you are the unlucky one. The Night Moon tribe only has the souls of those who died in battle. There are no survivors. Night Sorrow stomped his feet and waved his reincarnation spear towards Qinhaoren. Qinhaoren waved his long sword in the air and the sword chi slashed towards Night Sorrow. While Night Sorrow dodged the sword chi, he started to fight with Qinhaoren. At this moment, the people of the Night Moon tribe who came to pay respects also took out their weapons and were ready to fight. Don't move. You'll only cause trouble for Night Sorrow. Yun Huang blocked the group of people of the Night Moon tribe who were full of fighting spirit. An old man looked at the battle in the air and repeated Night Sorrow's words with trembling lips. The Night Moon tribe only has the souls of those who died in battle. There are no survivors. Prince Ling Huan said the same thing back then. The battle in the air was very intense. Qinhaoren was very fast and relied on the sword chi to suppress Night Sorrow. If Night Sorrow wanted to fight in close range, he wouldn't give him a chance. It was like a cat chasing a mouse. Dog-like person and dog-like tactics. A level 3 honorable still wants to fight in a guerrilla battle. Yun Huang scolded. Haha, you'll all die in a while. Qinhaoren laughed. He wanted to see the helpless expressions of this group of people. Then you'll die first. After Night Sorrow released the spear light, he released the space rend followed by the soul destruction slash. Night Sorrow knew that Qinhaoren was very fast. If he didn't hit him, it would be troublesome if he attacked again. Therefore he didn't want to give him a chance to breathe and used his ultimate move to kill him. Under the moonlight, the black space rend was very obvious. Qinhaoren's expression changed and he dodged to the side. Chapter 613. Genius 1 second remember love/go/little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. When Qinhaoren's eyes were filled with fear and he had no strength to resist, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear slashed across Qinhaoren's neck. He used his left hand to punch Qinhaoren's chest and sent him flying. Qinhaoren's body flew backward. Night Sorrow chased after him and waved his reincarnation spear, chopping off Qinhaoren's arms. Then he grabbed Qinhaoren's long sword with his left hand and threw it with all his might. The long sword pierced through Qinhaoren's head and flew backward, nailing him to the tip of the tombstone. Today I will use your blood to pay tribute to my Yi clan's martyrs. Slowly I will bring the heads of your Tianfeng dynasty's leaders here. I, Night Sorrow, am coming for the Night Moon dynasty. The battle begins today. As long as you live, the battle will not stop. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear, which was still stained with blood, and roared. Your surname is Yi. Who are you? The old man who wanted to fight pointed at Night Sorrow with a trembling finger and asked. There will probably be more people coming. I don't have time to talk to you. You should leave too. Don't make unnecessary sacrifices. Yun Huang took Qinhaoren's storage ring and pulled Night Sorrow to the outskirts of the Night Moon dynasty. He was worried that there would be people monitoring this place. I will be back. Night Sorrow turned his head to look at the blood-stained tombstone and said, Love/go/little, say, web/w. AIQX. So after Night Sorrow and Yun Huang flew for a while, they released their mounts. Night Sorrow, you have to be careful now. Not to mention whether there are other venerables here, there must be spies from other dynasties. This matter might blow up. Yun Huang said worriedly. That can't be helped. Since we've been discovered, we must fight. Night Sorrow didn't want to be exposed so early, but the development of the situation was beyond his expectations. Ninth uncle, that young man used spatial rend. That's spatial rend. Another old man stepped forward and said to the first old man. Night Moon's direct descendant, that's Night Moon's direct descendant. Yi Qingfeng, bring people to clean up this place. Clean up as many spies as you can. It's best if the news doesn't spread. The old man shouted to the second old man. It's too late. Just now there were already quite a number of black shadows leaving. The second old man, Yi Qingfeng, sighed. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang returned to Wuyo City and went to Gu Jun's inn. Young lord, are you injured? Gu Jun asked as he looked at the bloodstained Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow shook his head and took a clean robe to take a bath. Original T original 0L Yun Huang recounted what had happened during their trip. Young lord killed a level 3 martial honor opponent. That's incredible. Gu Jun said excitedly after hearing Yun Huang's story. After a while, Night Sorrow returned with a clean robe. Yun Huang, you know that I went to take a bath. Can't you make a pot of tea? Night Sorrow, you really have the style of a young master. But because of your prowess today, I have to make this tea. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow with disdain and started to make the tea. Yishang. Young master's name should be Yi Xiao, Gu Jun said to Yishang after hearing how Yun Huang addressed him. Night Sorrow. I'm drunk on this name. But it's also very elegant. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and turned around. He couldn't help but laugh. Back then, young concubine gave young lord the name Xiao, hoping that young lord could live with a smile. Prince Wu Yu felt that laughter was very important to a person's mentality, so he added the word Xiao. Hence, the name Night Sorrow came about. Gu Jun explained the origin of the name Night Sorrow. I might not be Night Sorrow. Even if I was, that was in the past. My current name was given to me by Father Gu, who raised me. Is to pay tribute to the 2 guards who died protecting me. Night Sorrow said. Everything matches. There's no mistake about it. As for the name, we'll talk about it when we meet Prince and young concubine. Gu Jun said. How about this, we won't leave for the time being. Uncle Gu Jun, you can go to Night Moon City and take a look at the situation. I don't want the citizens of Night Moon City to have to bear the consequences of my actions. Yishang was worried that the death of the supremacy would enrage those people and cause them to do something outrageous. Gu Jun nodded his head and left. He was also worried that something would happen in Night Moon City. We have to hurry up and cultivate. Some martial honors are really shameless. They really did something to us. Yun Huang said. In the past, there were almost no cases of martial honors attacking ordinary cultivators. When Gu Jun arrived at Night Moon City, he realized that the situation was different from what he expected. Night Moon City was still very quiet. However, there was a sense of killing in the silence. The killing aura came from the guards of Night Moon City. They were patrolling the streets. Although their cultivation wasn't high, their fighting spirit was high. On the tombstone of Night Moon City, Qin Haoran's corpse was still hanging. There were people watching from the side. After asking around, someone said that the corpse would be exposed for 7 days to punish him for his blasphemy towards the ancestors of Night Moon Dynasty. After hearing Gu Jun's report and knowing that Night Moon City was peaceful, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang stayed. They didn't leave because they were worried. They were worried that if the news spread out, it would cause a huge commotion. They were worried that the consequences would be borne by the citizens of Night Moon City. Night Sorrow felt that if there was a battle, he would bear the consequences. Of course, Yun Huang would accompany him. In fact, just as Night Sorrow and Yun Huang predicted, Qin Haoran's death and the appearance of the descendants of Night Moon Dynasty caused a huge commotion in the Taiqing region. The Tianfeng Dynasty, Golden Dragon King Dynasty, Qingming Dynasty, Red Leaf Dynasty, and Seven Star Dynasty were all ready to make a move. However, at this time the Yun Dynasty's king Yun Tianlong sent out a king's order. If any faction dared to attack the citizens of Night Moon City, or if any martial honor dared to enter Night Moon City, the core members of that faction would be killed by him. If the appearance of the descendants of Night Moon Dynasty caused a huge commotion, then Yun Tianlong's king's order caused a huge commotion. Yun Tianlong was the vice city lord of Taiqing City. When City Lord Yi Tian wasn't around, he was the person with the highest authority. This was a righteous order, and it was also due to the deterrence of an invincible martial honor. Yun Tianlong was an invincible martial honor. If anyone provoked him, he would kill that person. Who could stop him? The 5 dynasties wouldn't make a move for the citizens of Night Moon City who weren't led by a martial honor. Lin Yuandao, who received the news, accidentally crushed the teacup in his hand. This brat killed a 3rd-level martial honor and caused such a huge commotion. He's going to turn the sky upside down. He killed a 3rd-level martial honor before entering the martial honor realm. That's cruel enough, but he also threw himself into the limelight. Lu Trinswan said. It's not a big deal, but it's not a big deal either. The dynasties probably won't directly send people to attack Night Moon City. As long as he stops for a while, it won't be a big problem. Once he enters the martial honor realm, ordinary martial honor realm experts won't be a match for him. His safety shouldn't be a problem. Lin Yuandao said after thinking for a while. The war against the Tianfeng dynasty can't wait any longer. It must be carried out as soon as possible. Lu Trinswan said. Chapter 6:14. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Xiao? We provide you with exciting novels to read. Yi Shang and Yun Huang were very comfortable in Carefree City. When they had nothing to do, they would take a stroll around Carefree City. The rest of the time they would cultivate in the inn. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.ichuxs. Gu Jun often left. He wanted to know the news outside. Night Moon Dynasty had been defeated, but there were many people and they were still well informed. Half a month later, Gu Jun told Night Sorrow and Yun Huang the news he had heard. My old man is really domineering. Yun Huang said excitedly. Will this bring trouble to your Yun dynasty? Night Sorrow said worriedly. Bullshit. They're awesome. Why don't they try provoking my Yun dynasty? My old man is an invincible venerable. He can't crush them. Attack our Yun dynasty? We have invincible venerables and many peak venerables. They wouldn't dare. Besides, they won't go to war. Yun Huang said with a smile. Love go little say W. Chu you bastard, how do you know that they won't dare to go to war? Yun Tianlong, who was dressed in a black robe and had golden hair, appeared in the inn. Old master, you're here. Yun Huang rubbed his hair and bowed to Yun Tianlong. Night Sorrow also stood up and cupped his hands to Yun Tianlong. Not bad to be able to kill a venerable before entering the venerable realm. However, you're really bold. Yun Tianlong sat down and said, Old man, did you do something to my body? Yun Huang checked his body and asked Yun Tianlong. Nonsense. If I didn't leave a mark and you went missing, where would this king find you? Yun Tianlong glared at Yun Huang. Yun Huang rubbed his messy golden hair and didn't say anything. It's fine as long as the two of you are fine. Yun Tianlong took the tea that Yun Huang poured and glanced at Night Sorrow and Yun Huang again. Thank you, your majesty, for your help. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and said, Don't worry about it. I don't think the two of you are willing to leave with me. You can just stay here. If an expert appears, Yun Huang, take out your identity token. If they dare attack you after seeing your identity token, crush this. Yun Tianlong took out a milky white stone and tossed it to Yun Huang. What is this? Yun Huang asked as he held the milky white object. Soul cultivating stone. Inside is a soul clone. Night Sorrow whispered to Yun Huang. You know quite a bit. However, it's not a soul clone. It's just a strand of soul power. It'll be enough to resolve a crisis. At the same time, this king will also know the specifics of what happened back then. As long as he knows who it was, would he still dare to make a move? Yun Tianlong said. Then Yun Tianlong left. He wasn't a sloppy person. Although he was worried about the safety of his juniors, he still gave them enough space to explore. It's nothing big. We'll just stay here for a while. Yun Huang said. Night Sorrow nodded. He also wanted to stay here for a while and experience Wuxia City. Then the two of us will slowly cultivate. If we go out now and run into those shameless people, we'll still be unlucky. Yun Huang opened his mouth and said. I'm sorry, Yun Huang said. Once our cultivation increases, we'll go to their territory and kill them. We'll burn down their strongholds one by one. Night Sorrow clenched his fists and said. That's a good idea. I like it. Yun Huang clapped. Gu Jun wanted to say something, but he didn't say anything. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. However, Night Moon Dynasty had a hierarchy. There were some things that he couldn't interfere with. Night Sorrow didn't care about the outside world. He and Yun Huang cultivated in Wuxia City. When Lin Yuandao arrived at Eastern Shen region, he told Wu Lingfei everything. This guy is really restless. Then let's declare war on Tianfeng Dynasty. Eastern Shen region's City Lord Manor and Celestial Peak's Imperial Palace can both send some people. Wu Lingfei said. Then I'll go inform the other regions. Then we'll meet at Celestial Peak Pavilion. Lin Yuandao stood up and said. After Lin Yuandao left, Wu Lingfei went to the training ground where the God-slaying team was. Seeing Wu Lingfei arrive, the God-slaying team members stopped cultivating. Your mission was given by your captain. Night Sorrow isn't here, so I'll tell you about the situation. Tianji Tower and Eastern Shen region are going to declare war on Taiqing region's Tianfeng Dynasty. Whether you want to fight or not is up to you, Wu Lingfei said. Wu Lingfei could give the order directly, but she didn't want to break the tradition of the God-slaying team. Besides, the God-slaying team wouldn't have much effect if they didn't fight. City Lord, where is our captain now? Ho Jian asked. He's also in Taiqing region, but he might have run into some trouble. Wu Lingfei said. I propose to fight. Xueling, Linglong, Liue, what do you all think? Ho Jian turned and asked the members in front of the God-slaying team. Captain isn't here. You and Xueling can make the decision. I can only obey, Linglong said. Fight. This is the best time to make Eastern Shen region famous. Xueling said. Then the members of the God-slaying team all agreed. Then get ready. We'll set off with the City Lord Manor and Tianji Tower later. Wu Lingfei left after giving the order. She still had to go to the City Lord Manor and Tianji Tower to mobilize people. However, the City Lord Manor had limited manpower. Only the Bloodstrike Guards could be freed up. After all, some of the higher-ups had gone to Taiyue region. Ruling Taiyue region required a lot of manpower. Then the people of Eastern Shen region set off. They took the normal teleportation array. Wu Lingfei took everyone to the strategic teleportation array because there was no teleportation array available. This time the Extreme Heaven Tower's actions were very big. Could be said that all the 9 regions knew about it. They all knew that the Tianfeng dynasty was going to suffer this time. After all, if the Extreme Heaven Tower wanted to attack any force, no force would be able to stop it. Putting everything else aside, the Eastern Shen region and the North Sea region were now Tianji Tower's most reliable partners. What kind of strength was this? The Tianfeng dynasty could only be bullied. Z only \square root of version b %, see others / all 0 unspecified currency is * steel version *ono 1 spoke up for the Tianfeng dynasty. The main reason was that the Tianfeng dynasty was constantly challenging Tianji Tower's bottom line. In addition, the war between Eastern Shen region and Qingtian region had nothing to do with the Tianfeng dynasty. However, the Tianfeng dynasty insisted on interfering. The Tianfeng dynasty was gloomy. They used Tianji Tower to establish their prestige in order to establish their position as the #1 dynasty in Taiqing region. They thought that Tianji Tower's principle was to not fight for power and that everything would be fine as long as they controlled themselves. However, they forgot one thing. There were some things that Tianji Tower wouldn't do, but if they had to silently admit that they were being slapped in the face, then they wouldn't be Tianji Tower. The Tianfeng dynasty quickly joined forces with other dynasties. The Golden Dragon King dynasty, Qingming dynasty, Red Leaf dynasty, and Seven Star dynasty all expressed that they wouldn't participate in this matter because they knew that the angry Tianji Tower was not to be trifled with. Even if they attacked together, it wouldn't be useful. Besides, they all thought that they had nothing to do with it. Chapter 6:15. Genius 1 second. Remember love, go, shao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Not to mention the Tianfeng dynasty, the current Heaven's Terminus Tower had the power to crush even the other great dynasties combined. The forces of the 9 Regions Tower, in addition to the strength of the headquarters and the first base, had already dominated a region. The forces of Tianji Tower directly pushed forward, and the giants were watching from behind. This time, Tianji Tower planned to directly cripple the Tianfeng dynasty, because the Tianfeng dynasty had crossed the bottom line of Tianji Tower. When Tianji Tower advanced 200,000 miles, a man in a silver robe appeared and directly blocked the advance of Tianji Tower's forces. Several venerables were repelled, including the invincible venerable of the North Sea domain, Bei Tiange. Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao, Guo Xiao, and Le Trin Xuan, who received the news, all rushed to the city called Wing-Spreading City. Saint, are you going to participate in the war? Wu Lingfei's golden phoenix soft armor protected her body as she directly rose into the air and stood opposite the silver-robed man. Saints shouldn't participate in such a war, but if I don't show up, the Tianfeng dynasty will be destroyed by Tianji Tower. What's the point of me following the rules? The silver-robed man said. In other words, only the Tianfeng dynasty can attack others. If others attack you, you don't have to follow the rules because you're afraid of being destroyed. The polar moon will appear on Wu Lingfei's body. If she didn't deal with this saint, Tianji Tower's attack would be blocked. Therefore, even if her cultivation was inferior to the other party, Wu Lingfei still had to fight. Baidu search love, go, shao, shua, www.atux.com. I don't want to fight. You're the ones who are forcing me. The silver-robed man waved his arm and a large sword appeared in his hand. Qin Yuan, do you think I don't exist? If you want to fight, I'll fight with you. A figure appeared in front of Wu Lingfei and then slowly solidified. It was a woman in a blue robe and a golden mask. Wuji Saint, it's not me who wants to fight, it's Tianji Tower who wants to destroy the Tianfeng dynasty. The silver-robed Qin Yuan bowed and said, his attitude obviously much more respectful. Destroy your Tianfeng dynasty? When the Tianfeng dynasty bullied Tianji Tower and went to Taiwa domain to fight, you died. Or are you pretending not to know? The blue-robed everlasting saint said coldly. Qin Yuan really doesn't know. Qin Yuan bowed. Don't play dumb with me. I own a tea house in Taiching City, and there's nothing in the world that I don't know. It's not that I didn't know about your attack on the Night Moon dynasty, but I felt that there was no point in asking about it after the fact, so I didn't ask about it. Since you're not going to abide by the Holy Accord, there's no point in keeping it. The blue-robed everlasting saint waved his arm and a piece of golden paper with a radius of about 3 meters rose into the air. Then it started to burn. Everlasting saint, how can you do this? Qin Yuan's expression turned ugly when he saw the burning golden paper. The golden paper burned, and the golden light flew into the sky and spread out in all directions. How is that possible? All of you are attacking one by one. Is this holy accord made for me? The blue-robed everlasting saint roared. It's the Tianfeng dynasty's fault this time. I'll go back and restrain them. Qin Yuan cupped his hands and said, 0/0/0/0/0/0 inch. If you didn't come out, I would have asked them to stop when it was about time, but now, it's too late. Lord K, as the Supreme Elder of Tianji Tower, I order all the people of Tianji Tower to continue to push forward 1,000,000 miles. Anyone who dares to stop us will be killed. The blue-robed everlasting saint raised his right hand, which was holding a token with the word, everlasting on it. Yes, Supreme Elder. Lin Yuandao and the others bowed and waved their hands to let the people on the ground continue to push forward. Tianji Tower's tokens were all made of metal, but the materials were different. There was also a Supreme Elder's token made of jade. The corner of Qin Yuan's eyes twitched, but he didn't say anything. If the Tianji Tower pushed forward another 1,000,000 miles, the territory of the Tianfeng dynasty would be reduced by more than half. However, if he resisted, the Tianfeng dynasty might be destroyed. Qin Yuan, let me give you a piece of advice. You can't bully the heavenly Tao. The consequences of attacking the Night Moon dynasty are very serious. You know too little. You don't know the real Moon Emperor and you don't have the qualifications to know. Get lost. The blue-robed everlasting saint waved his sleeve, and waves of ripples appeared in front of Chen Yuan out of thin air, directly sending him flying. Lin Yuandao greets Supreme Elder. Lin Yuandao cupped his hands to the blue-robed everlasting saint. Wu Lingfei and the others also bowed. It shouldn't be a problem. The Tianfeng dynasty won't dare to resist. Come to my tea house to talk. The blue-robed everlasting saint nodded to Lin Yuandao and the others. Then, the blue-robed everlasting saint led them to a small, inconspicuous tea house in the Taiqing domain. You have a lot of questions, right? I'll just casually mention them to you. I used to be the head of the Tianji Tower. Do you know the name Xiaolanjun? The blue-robed everlasting saint said to them. Upon hearing this name, Lin Yuandao and the others rose to their feet and bowed again, because Xiaolanjun used to be the head of the Tianji Tower. The human race in the realm of unbounded desolation had changed because of Xiaolanjun. Then, Xiaolanjun told them some secrets that no one knew about, which were the secrets of the ancient Godseal War. Whenever the Nine Realms world reached its peak, there would be inexplicable wars. Some outsiders would appear and slaughter the saints of the Nine Realms world. Some even said that they came to rob the saints of the Nine Realms world of unbounded desolation. It was like livestock that would be harvested when the time came. In order to avoid unnecessary consumption, the saints of the Nine Realms world of unbounded desolation signed an agreement not to interfere in the wars between realms and those below the Saint Realm. This agreement was known as the Holy Accord. The Holy Accord was proposed by the Moon Emperor, and I initiated it. However, there are still people who don't abide by it. Since that's the case, it's better to suppress them with force and eliminate those who don't abide by it, lest a rat spoils the whole pot of soup, Xiaolanjun said. The Moon Emperor. Isn't the Moon Emperor Night Sky an invincible venerable? How could he be qualified to propose the Holy Accord? Lin Yuandao looked at Xiaolanjun in surprise. He couldn't understand what Xiaolanjun was saying. The Moon Emperor is an invincible venerable. That's just his soul doppelganger. His true body's cultivation base is unfathomable. Even I don't know how strong it is. Xiaolanjun sighed. The Moon Emperor's soul doppelganger had already awed an entire era. This was something that no one else could compare to. Then where are his true body and soul doppelganger now? Wu Lingfei asked. She was very concerned about this because it was related to Night Sorrow. The Moon Emperor entered the Saint Realm with the power of space. However, he felt that it wasn't enough. Since he could break the spatial barrier, he traveled to different realms to pursue a higher cultivation base, Xiaolanjun said. Entering the Saint Realm with the power of space isn't enough. What kind of cultivation base is he pursuing? Guoxiao asked in surprise. He mentioned that he wanted to become a Saint Realm with the power of time and space. That would be second only to the saints with the supreme element. That would be truly invincible. Xiaolanjun revealed the Moon Emperor Night Sky's ambition. The Night Moon dynasty has been suppressed to this extent. If the Moon Emperor returns, wouldn't it be a storm? Guoxiao asked. Chapter 616. Genius 1 second. Remember love, go, Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Are they still very strong? Lin Yuandao asked. Baidu search love, go, Xiao, say, www.achux.com. They are very strong, but they don't have a saint, especially Yi Linghuan, who is known as the Invincible King. He has been a half-step saint for a long time, but he was seriously injured by Qin Yuan's sneak attack. His origin was damaged and he has not recovered. The Sea of Night Moon is a place where space rules are very strong. It is only a matter of time before he becomes a saint, Xiaolanjun said. Qin Yuan is a saint and can control the power of rules. Didn't he chase into the Sea of Night Moon? If he did, wouldn't the Night Moon dynasty be destroyed? Wu Lingfei said. He wants to chase but he doesn't dare. The Sea of Night Moon is full of space turbulence. The people of the Night Moon dynasty who have the protection of space energy have the advantage. If several emperors of the Night Moon dynasty join forces and use their unique talent, the space crack, then Qin Yuan will die. Do you think he dares to chase? Xiaolanjun said the reason why the Night Moon dynasty was not destroyed even if there were saints. Baidu search love, go, Xiao, say, www.achux.com. Read novels for free for a long time. So that's how it is. I'm worried about that kid, Lin Yuandao said with a sigh of relief after knowing that the Night Moon dynasty was not destroyed. Which kid? Xiaolanjun looked at Lin Yuandao with some confusion. Grand Elder, I want to appoint a young master. He is a direct descendant of the Night Moon dynasty. Baidu, Xiao, Sei, Wuka Lin Yuan Dao said. The greatest significance of the Empyrean Terminus Tower's existence is to give cultivators some opportunities and balance out the relationships between some forces. Those in power must have a sense of justice in the overall situation. Does Tower Lord think that person can do it? Xiaolanjun asked Lin Yuan Dao. Grand Elder, here is all the information about Night Sorrow from when he had no cultivation to when he was able to kill a venerable. There is also some analysis of his personality and temperament. Lin Yuandao took out a handbook and handed it to Xiaolanjun. Lin Yuandao had recorded all the details of Night Sorrow's growth in detail. Xiaolanjun read page by page. She even read some pages twice. Half an hour later she put down the book. Xiaolanjun looked at Lin Yuandao, Wu Lingfei, Guo and Latrin Swan and said, according to the records here, his temperament is perfect, his combat strength is outstanding, and he can see the big picture. He is simply a perfect person. I'm not praising him, but he is a perfect seedling. He provided us with the origin stones to enter the Saint Realm and Half-Saint Realm. He didn't ask for anything in return. He didn't take advantage of Tianji Tower, Guo said. He had a very good impression of Night Sorrow. Vice Palace Master Wu, you should be the calmest among you. You can even say that your state of mind is the best. What do you think? Xiaolanjun looked at Wu Lingfei and asked. When it comes to Yishan, I have the least right to speak. When I was injured in the Realm War, it was because of him that I was able to recover. He was also the one who brought me Source Stones and Life Saint Crystals to help me enter the Saint Realm. He calls me Aunt, so I treat him like family, said Wu Lingfei. Ah, so you all have unanimously agreed. Then there's no problem. After listening to what you said, my evaluation just now was still 1 point off. That guy still has great luck. Otherwise, the Space-Time Pagoda wouldn't have recognized him as its master. The matter of the Space-Time Pagoda still needs to be resolved, Xiaolanjun said. What? Is there still trouble with the Space-Time Pagoda? Wu Lingfei asked. Yes, Saint Silver Dusk from the Qingtian domain doesn't intend to let it go. She just doesn't dare to go to the Eastern Profound Domain, Xiaolanjun said. Spirit treasures of heaven and earth belong to the virtuous. What else does she plan to do? She already went too far when she interfered in the Realm War. Who is afraid of her? Wu Lingfei became angry when she heard that the saint from the Qingtian domain didn't intend to let it go. In the past, I didn't know that the Space-Time Pagoda was in the hands of Tianji Tower, so I ignored her. Now that I know, of course I have to deal with it. Since the Covenant of the Saints has been burned, let's fight whoever wants to. Xiaolanjun also erupted with fighting spirit. Thank you, Grand Elder. Lin Yuandao bowed to Xiaolanjun. All of you are not bad, especially Vice Palace Master Wu. As long as you improve your cultivation, you will be an expert among the saints. That Qinyuan is nothing compared to you. Foundation. Although many people value it, how many people can really endure it and advance with advanced attributes? Xiaolanjun looked at Wu Lingfei and nodded approvingly. She knew that Wu Lingfei had defeated Jiyu Haitian. Yishang and Yun Huang's days were very pleasant. Every day they would drink tea together, drink wine together, and then cultivate. Gu Jun went out to gather information every day. Now, he wasn't the only one gathering information. He had already mobilized the people in Wuyo City to gather information elsewhere. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were very excited when they found out that the Tianji Tower had declared war on the Tianfeng dynasty and defeated it. They immediately pulled Gu Jun to celebrate. The appearance of a saint has caused the world to be in chaos. However, it has also restrained the others. They won't dare to act recklessly. This is a good thing. Gu Jun said. Let's work harder. Once we reach the Venerable Realm, we will go and kill. We will kill wherever you tell us to. Every time we attack, we will change our location. Let's see what they can do to us. Yun Huang was very excited. However, it hasn't been long since I reached the Void Inquiry stage. I still need to stabilize my cultivation base. Night Sorrow said after sensing his cultivation base. Don't worry. Even if you aren't a Venerable Realm expert, isn't killing Venerable Realm experts like playing a game? Yun Huang admired Night Sorrow very much. Young Lord, no one in the Night Moon knows about your identity now. They only know that a direct descendant of the Night Moon's royal family has appeared. They are all furious and have formed guards in every city. As long as it's not a Venerable Realm expert, they won't be able to occupy our cities. Looking at the current situation, the people of the other dynasties won't dare to act recklessly. Our Night Moon can recover for a while. Gu Jun said. I hope that my appearance won't cause everyone to suffer a blow. Knight Sorrow expressed the biggest concern in his heart. It won't. Young Lord's appearance has given everyone a pillar of support and hope. Young Lord, please wait for me for a while. Gu Yun left as soon as she finished speaking. After that, she took out a stack of square yellow satin. What's this? Knight Sorrow looked at Gu Yun and asked. It was because Gu Yun was very serious. She was holding the satin with both hands. The Night Moon Battle Flag. Young Lord, please take care of it. Gu Jun knelt down on one knee and raised the yellow satin above his head with both hands. Knight Sorrow stood up and received the yellow satin with both hands. Then he shook his arm and unfolded the battle flag. It was a battle flag embroidered with a blue night sky with stars in the night sky and a bright moon hanging in the sky. Later, the two of us will hang the battle flag in the sky of the night moon. As long as the Venerable Realm experts don't come, the two of us have nothing to be afraid of. No matter how many small fries come, we will kill them all. Yun Huang said. However, I will have to drag you into the water and fight together with me. Knight Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and said apologetically. Chapter 617. Geniuses remember love in 1 second? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Knight Sorrow and Yun Huang arrived at Night Moon Sky in the evening. Knight Sorrow hung the battle flag on the top of the damaged Night Moon Palace. That's right. I don't think those dogs will come easily. After all, it's a chaotic situation now. The war at Tianji Tower has made them feel insecure, Yun Huang said. Knight Sorrow nodded. He took out a jar of wine and threw it to Yun Huang. The two of them poured half a jar in front of the monument and started drinking. Just as the two of them were drinking, two old men appeared at Night Moon Sky with a group of guards. Yi Xiaoyuan greets young master. The old man bowed to Knight Sorrow. The people behind him even knelt on one knee. Senior, you're exaggerating. I'm from Night Moon Sky, but I'm not your young master. Knight Sorrow reached out and helped the old man called Yi Xiaoyuan up. You must be a direct descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty to be able to use Space Rend. You must be the young master of the Night Moon Dynasty. Also, Gu Jun has met me, so we know about young master, Yi Xiaoyuan said. I'm sure I'm from Night Moon Sky, but don't say anything else because it might not be accurate. You can just call me Knight Sorrow, Knight Sorrow said to Yi Xiaoyuan and the others. However, Yi Xiaoyuan and the others still insisted. Then Yi Xiaoyuan told Knight Sorrow that he had already formed a group of guards with the people of Night Moon Sky. As long as there were no venerables, Night Moon City would be safe. Let's leave it at Night Moon Sky for now. Let the other areas be built. I think even if they do something, they will target me and the direct descendants of Night Moon Sky. They won't target ordinary people. The king's order from the Yun dynasty and the war at Tianji Tower will affect them greatly, Knight Sorrow said to Yi Xiaoyuan. Yi Xiaoyuan nodded, then turned around and gave the order to arrange this matter. Following that, Yi Xiaoyuan and Yi Qingfeng introduced the current situation of Night Moon City to Knight Sorrow. Most of the people from the Night Moon dynasty who entered the Night Moon Sea were high-level cultivators and direct descendants of the royal family. Other than those who left, there were many other branches in the various cities of the Night Moon dynasty. However, because the main force was not present, continuing to fight would be a meaningless sacrifice. Therefore, the high-level cultivators who could easily attract the attention of the other party had already gone into hiding, leaving behind only the citizens below the 5th step. As for the subsidiary cities, some chose to leave and live in the mountains while some chose to come to Night Moon City. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.ichuxs.com, that is to say there are still many cultivators in Night Moon City? Yun Huang asked. Yes, they used to live the lives of ordinary people. After saying that, Knight Sorrow disappeared in a flash and entered the Spacetime Pagoda. The Spacetime Pagoda's body turned into the size of a finger and floated in the air. Then it streaked across space and disappeared. Then Knight Sorrow appeared in front of Yun Huang again. Holy *T, what's going on? Today I'm going to be shameless. I need to learn from you, Yun Huang said as he grabbed Knight Sorrow's sleeve. I won't hide it from you. This isn't a cultivation technique, it's a magical treasure. You should have heard of the Qingtian region's Shantian Pagoda, which is the Spacetime Pagoda. It's in my hands. If I encounter a powerful enemy, I can hide in it and then escape, Knight Sorrow said. Isn't that easy? Let's go fight together. When the time comes, both of us can go in and we'll be done. Yun Huang's face was filled with excitement. Then let's give it a try. Don't resist. I'll wrap you with my soul force and see if it works. Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang. He then communicated with Shao Kong. After communicating with Shao Kong, Night Sorrow released his soul power and enveloped Yun Huang before entering the space-time pagoda. This is the interior of the Shantian pagoda. As long as I can come in with you, I'll be safe. Let's go. You choose the location and we'll start killing. Yun Huang said as he waved his arms excitedly. Since you're willing to fight with me, I, Night Sorrow, have nothing else to say. As long as I'm alive, I won't let you get hurt, Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang. Then Night Sorrow and Yun Huang exited the space-time pagoda. Chapter 618. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Alright, let's say goodbye to Uncle Gu and leave. The earlier we take action, the safer Night Moon City will be. Night Sorrow nodded. But we still have to investigate properly before taking action. Since they are shameless enough to use a venerable to kill us, we have nothing else to say. Let's be more despicable and kill them while ensuring our own safety. Yun Huang expressed his thoughts. At night, Gu Yun returned. Night Sorrow told her about his and Yun Huang's plan. No way. It's too dangerous. You are the direct descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty and everyone's hope. You can't take such a risk. Gu Jun didn't care about seniority and immediately objected. TL, new idiot is the fastest. I am the descendant of the Night Moon Dynasty. I have to take responsibility. Although it's a little risky, it's worth it to exchange for the safety of millions of Night Moon citizens. Night Sorrow shook his head. Young master, you can't do that. Gu Jun's face was filled with worry. It's settled then. I will be careful. Taking revenge for Night Moon is my mission. I won't let myself fall before completing my mission. Yun Huang, let's go. Night Sorrow shouted to Yun Huang. Gu Yun helplessly watched Night Sorrow and Yun Huang leave. Riding on their mounts, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang each held a jar of wine and drank as they traveled. This time, the two didn't head towards Dragon Tail City. Instead, they chose Thousand Creek City, the closest city to Wind City in the Night Moon region. The two of them planned to kill from Thousand Creek City. Oh right, that Chin Something's venerable ring is still with me. Come over quickly and let's split the loot. Yun Huang waved at Night Sorrow. This was Yun Huang. He knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't accept it even if he gave it to Night Sorrow. Hence, he directly called for Night Sorrow to split the loot. Coming. Hearing Yun Huang's words, Night Sorrow didn't argue. With a flash, he landed on the back of the silver-winged eagle controlled by the ghost wolf. With a thought, Yun Huang opened Qin Haoran's storage ring. Qin Haoran was a venerable one, so his foundation was relatively solid. What shocked Night Sorrow was that this guy had a space crystal. Although it was not big, it could still split into two. Take this. We'll split it into 5 high-grade crystals, 150 per person, Yun Huang said as he tossed the space crystal to Night Sorrow. That won't do. This spatial spirit stone is more valuable than anything else, Night Sorrow said. The Yun dynasty has set up all the teleportation formations that should be set up, but what about you? If you want to rebuild the Night Moon Empire, don't you need to build a teleportation array? If you need it, then don't talk nonsense with me. Qin Haoran was killed by you. Why should I be so thick-skinned as to share the loot with you? Because we're brothers, you know. Yun Huang waved his arm and put away half of the spirit stones. That's true. We're all brothers. Why would I be so courteous with you? That would be treating you as an outsider. Night Sorrow smiled at Yun Huang. He knew that Yun Huang treated him as a brother. If he continued to be pretentious, then it would be meaningless. Yun Huang laughed heartily. He liked the feeling of having brothers. His cousins in the Yun dynasty all had a sense of self-interest, but he didn't like it. That was why he had been wandering alone all these years. I'm not worried about Night Sorrow. What I'm worried about is Ji Yuhao. He has the power of time. He's too hard to deal with, said Yun Huang. Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and asked, will you be able to protect yourself against him after you enter the Exalt realm? Defeating him is impossible. However, in a short battle you should be able to protect yourself. After all, I cultivate the lightning attribute. Moreover, it is an attribute that is infinitely close to the pinnacle of Black Fury Lightning. You have a chance of defeating him. So, the crux of the problem lies with you. Yun Huang said to Yi Shan. Let's go, Yun Huang said to Yi Shan. I'll be fine. As long as I become a venerable one, I won't be suppressed by him anymore, Night Sorrow said confidently. That's good. This is the first time I've been bullied in so many years. You've got to help me get back at them, Yun Huang said. Night Sorrow smiled at Yun Huang. I have some good wine that I want to try. Do you want to try it? Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and take it out. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yun Huang's eyes lit up. Yishang took out a jar of Sundragon wine, then took out a wine bowl and poured a bowl for each of them. Yun Huang took the wine bowl and drank half of it. *CK. What wine is this? I can't take it anymore. I need to meditate and cultivate. After drinking half a bowl of wine, Yun Huang's face was red. He couldn't bear to part with the remaining half of the wine. He took out a pill bottle and poured the wine into it without looking at what kind of pill it was. Then he closed his eyes and meditated. Night Sorrow held the wine bowl and looked at the meditating Yun Huang. Then he looked at the silver-winged eagle. Ghost Wolf, I'm Yun Huang's brother. Just keep flying forward. Night Sorrow returned to Changyu's back and looked at the wine bowl in his hand. Night Sorrow drank it in one gulp. After drinking it, Night Sorrow understood why Yun Huang's face changed and why he needed to meditate and cultivate. The Sundragon wine contained blood and yang qi that was too strong. Night Sorrow also sat down and started to cultivate. It took Yishang 4 hours to refine a bowl of wine. He could feel that the cultivation of the myriad Tao treasured tome had increased. There was also an evil feeling in his heart. Yishang knew what was going on. It was the excessive yang qi. In the evening, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang woke up from their meditation. What wine is this? It's killing me. I need to find a city quickly. I can't take it anymore. I need to find a girl. Yun Huang tidied up a part of his robe. Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and laughed. How do you feel? Great. I just can't take it. When you need it, drink a little. The effect is definitely strong. Yun Huang gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Can I give you some more? Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and asked. Not for now. When I need it, I'll ask you for more. What is this wine made from? Yun Huang asked, puzzled. It's made from the dragon root of a pinnacle honorable 5-clawed pterosaur and some precious herbs. Night Sorrow said. The dragon root of a pinnacle honorable 5-clawed pterosaur? You're ruthless. In the 9 regions and 18 states, there's no one else like you. Yun Huang took a deep breath and said. I'm cultivating my body. That's why I need these things. Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang. All right. Give me a jar of the other wine. Yun Huang said. Let's set up camp later. We'll make some barbecue before drinking. Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang. Then Tianyu caught a wild deer. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang set up camp. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were both solo trainees. They were very good at cooking barbecue. Then the two of them cut the deer meat to go with the wine. We're still 3 days away from Thousand Creek City. When the time comes, you'll be in charge of fending off the experts. I'll take care of the underlings and light the fire. Yun Huang said after taking a sip of wine. Chapter 619. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I'll provide you with interesting novels to read. I'm not stupid. Can't I wear a veil or something? Yun Huang said to Night Sorrow. Love go little say W. Chu, yeah, that's for the best. Night Sorrow nodded. This mask is quite unique, but I can't bring trouble to Tianji Tower. Yun Huang flipped his palm and tossed a mask back and forth. Yishang stretched out his hand and caught the mask that Yun Huang had thrown into the air. After taking a serious look at it, Yishang smiled. We can really play together in the future. Yun Huang took the mask from Night Sorrow and looked at Night Sorrow. What's wrong? You are a celestial emissary of Tianji Tower. Coincidentally, I also have a mask like this. Night Sorrow also took out his celestial mask. That D*MN supervisor told me that there are only 3 celestial emissaries in Tianji Tower, including me. Why are there so many celestial emissaries now? Yun Huang said with some dissatisfaction. What do you mean by so many? Including you, there are only 3 celestial emissaries. It's really fate that we can meet in advance. Night Sorrow was speechless. So many celestial emissaries? There were only 3 celestial emissaries in the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. Ah, my mouth really doesn't know how to speak. Yun Huang also realized that his words were wrong. That's just you. I don't mind. However, if that person hears this, she will definitely not be happy, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm really happy. I've always been worried that after joining Tianji Tower, I would be restricted and have no like-minded companions. Now I'm relieved. By the way, what's the situation with that person? Yun Huang asked. Night Sorrow briefly explained Ling Long's situation and the God-slaying squad situation. The situation is good. I'll go with you to see the God-slaying squad when the time comes. I acknowledge you as a brother, but I want to see the others. Not everyone can be my brother, Yun Huang said as he drank. Ah, they're all good men. Not everyone can be my brother, Night Sorrow said. After eating, the two of them began to meditate and cultivate. Tianji Tower directly pushed forward 1,000,000 miles and announced to the outside world that this area was the territory of Tianji Tower's first base. Whoever wanted it could come and try. Tianji Tower was not willing to fight, but whoever wanted to fight, they would definitely accompany them to the end. Even the self-proclaimed #1 force in the Taiqing region, the Tianfeng dynasty, was no match for Tianji Tower, so the other dynasties didn't dare to act recklessly. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. And the main reason was that the strength displayed by Tianji Tower this time was too strong. It swept through the Tianfeng dynasty like it was a game. Such a battle situation shocked the 9 regions. At that time, many people in Spreading Wings City knew that Saint Qin Yuan of the Tianfeng dynasty didn't dare to take action. This invisible deterrent force made all the forces not dare to act recklessly. If Tianji Tower claimed to be the #2 force in the 9 regions, no force would dare to claim to be the #1. In the later part of the battle, the members of the Tianfeng dynasty retreated voluntarily. However, they were forced to retreat in the early part of the battle. They lost a lot of people and could be said to have suffered a serious blow. Their reputation was damaged and their strength plummeted. AI Go Xiao Say W. Chu. After expanding their territory by 1,000,000 miles, Tianji Tower didn't directly rule. They still handed over these occupied areas to some subsidiary forces to manage. However, everyone knew who the territory belonged to. Such a situation made all the forces in the Taiqing region not dare to act recklessly. They knew that the Night Moon dynasty had begun to recover, but they didn't do anything. Everyone was worried that if they jumped out at this time, they would be attacked by Tianji Tower. After all, the Night Moon dynasty was such a large area. Who knew if Tianji Tower would care about it? The Golden Dragon King dynasty and the Qingming dynasty even withdrew from the territory of the Night Moon dynasty that they had previously occupied. The Yun dynasty also made a move. They directly set up a blockade around the Night Moon dynasty and announced that anyone who dared to touch the ordinary people in the Taiqing region would be declaring war on the Yun dynasty. The other 5 dynasties didn't react to the Yun dynasty's actions, which was equivalent to tacit agreement. At this time, no one wanted to become enemies with the Yun dynasty. It should be known that Yun Qianlong's strength was outstanding, and his identity as the deputy city lord could also summon a large number of cultivators. When the 5 dynasties attacked the Night Moon dynasty back then, Yun Qianlong wasn't there. Otherwise, the 5 dynasties wouldn't have been so unscrupulous. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang continued to sneak toward Thousand Creek City. Thousand Creek City was a relatively remote city in the Sky King dynasty. There weren't many soldiers guarding it. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow and Yun Huang chose to go there first. The two sneaked into Thousand Creek City in the middle of the night. Under the cover of the night, the two of them directly went to the city lord's mansion and began to assassinate. Yong Agio plus free reading, novels. Night Sorrow's soul force was strong, and his detection ability was strong. Unknowingly, most of the city lord's mansion's guards were killed by Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's actions were still discovered by a peak rank 5 guard commander. Although this guard commander was only able to block a few moves before being killed by Yishang, it was enough to stop Yishang's assassination. Since they couldn't assassinate, they had to fight openly. Night Sorrow also understood the situation here. There was only one city lord who was a beginner supremacy. A beginner supremacy was nothing in Night Sorrow's eyes. Night Sorrow continued to kill people. Yun Huang blocked the city lord's mansion's door and continued to kill people. His pair of scimitars slashed the guards until they cried out. He even took the prepared fire torches and threw them around the city lord's mansion. Night Sorrow and the city lord, who was a rank 2 supremacy, attacked each other. The city lord's mansion's guards also surrounded Night Sorrow. However, the sword Qi and scimitar couldn't even break through Night Sorrow's protective barrier. "Brother, you hold on. I'll go loot the storeroom," Yun Huang shouted as he rushed into the city lord's mansion. As he rushed, he killed and set fire to the city lord's mansion. "Don't worry, I'll hold them off," Night Sorrow shouted. Right now he didn't feel any pressure at all. Who exactly are you people? Do you think our Skywind dynasty is easy to mess with? The city lord shouted as he fought. Right now he was completely suppressed by Night Sorrow. Therefore he hoped to use the name of the Skywind dynasty to scare off the two robbers, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang. In his eyes, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were two daring robbers who didn't care about their lives. Trying to scare me with the name of the Skywind dynasty? You're thinking too much. Hearing the city lord shout, Yun Huang shouted back. There's no harm in telling you. I'm Night Moon Night Sorrow. As long as I'm alive, your Skywind dynasty will never have a day of peace. If I have the time, I'll come and kill everyone from your Skywind dynasty. Night Sorrow didn't plan to hide his identity. Not intending to continue fighting, Night Sorrow used his innate skill, Spatial Rend. Then he rushed forward and used his reincarnation spear to attack the city lord. When the city lord of Thousand Creeks City saw Night Sorrow's Spatial Rend, his expression changed drastically. He waved his sword to block it. Because the two of them were too close, there was no way for him to dodge. Gotcha. The city lord of Thousand Creek City's weapon shattered and his right arm was cut off by the Spatial Rend. At this moment, Night Sorrow's right arm shook violently and the reincarnation spear pierced through the city lord's chest. Then Night Sorrow pushed the city lord forward until they reached the white wall of the city lord's mansion. Chapter 620. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Xiao? Talk Web providing you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow left 7 words. Night Moon Night Sorrow, I'm coming. On the white wall, the 7 words in bright red were very eye-catching. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.ichuxs. Night Sorrow then took the unlucky city lord's storage ring and left Thousand Creek City on a flying beast with Yun Huang, who had set the place on fire and robbed the warehouse. 2,000 miles away from Thousand Creek City, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang set up camp. No one can become rich without a windfall. I found 2 chests of spirit stones and a pile of materials in the storehouse of the city magistrate's mansion. With that, Yun Huang waved his hand and 2 chests appeared, along with a pile of materials. Not bad, the harvest is quite big. Night Sorrow said. Let's see what's inside first. Yun Huang opened the boxes. There were 2 boxes of spirit stones inside, but they were all middle-grade spirit stones. There were less than 100 high-grade spirit stones. I don't want the spirit stones. I'm an alchemist. Just give me the materials. Night Sorrow said. No, the materials are trash to me. They don't count. We'll split the spirit stones. Yun Huang didn't wait for Night Sorrow to speak and took half of the spirit stones. All right. You're generous. Night Sorrow smiled and kept the materials. Actually, it's not that I'm generous, it's you. Because you don't need the materials for a rank 4 pill. After you refine it into a pill, you'll give it to others. You're willing to give up half of your benefits for others. That's why you're more generous than me. Yun Huang said. Night Sorrow shook his head. It's good as long as I have enough resources. If I can help those around me, I'll help them. /update with new, fastest % ion plus. That's why the materials are yours. Night Moon also needs the support of pills. Yun Huang said. There are still resources here that we haven't divided. Night Sorrow took out the storage ring of the venerable city lord and took out the resources inside. A venerable level cultivator was rich. The resources in this storage ring were even more abundant than the city lord's mansion storage that Yun Huang had robbed. The two of them laughed and divided the loot. After resting for a night, the two of them continued on their journey. Yun Huang and Night Sorrow held the map and chose the cities they wanted to attack on the Windy Dynasty's map. In over 20 days, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang had massacred 6 cities. They had killed 4 venerable level city lords and plundered a lot of resources. While they were rushing to set up camp, Night Sorrow was refining pills. Whether it was tier 3 or tier 4 pills, he was even refining tier 2 pills. He wanted to prepare a batch of resources for Night Moon City. The two of them attacked the cities of the Tianfeng dynasty without any scruples, causing the Tianfeng dynasty to be alarmed at the slightest sound and increase the number of people sent to every city. Ignoring Night Sorrow, Yun Huang and Yun Huang changed their target and began to slaughter the Qingming dynasty. The two of them didn't have a fixed target. In any case, in the Taiqing domain, other than the Yun dynasty, all the other forces had participated in the attack on the Night Moon dynasty. No matter who they attacked, no one would be wronged. Following Night Sorrow and Yun Huang's crazy actions, the two of them became famous. The entire Taiqing domain knew that there were two madmen who went against the Tianfeng dynasty and the Qingming dynasty before they reached the Venerable Realm. Knight Sorrow's name completely resounded, and the demon hunter also became famous. This was because before every battle Yun Huang would shout, "The demon hunter is here, prepare to die." In the underground palace of the Taiqing domain's first base, the higher-ups of the Tianji Tower were having a meeting. "Isn't Knight Sorrow messing around? This is a dangerous place," Guo said with some annoyance. According to the description, the kid with him is our Tianji Tower's third celestial terminus envoy Yun Huang. If it didn't involve Yun Huang, the Yun dynasty wouldn't have reacted like this, Latrin Swan said. "It's very dangerous. The other party can't find them and we can't find them either. We can't help them even if we want to," Lin Yuandao said. "Knight Sorrow isn't a brainless person, and the kid from the Yun dynasty isn't a fool either. The two of them must have a plan and a purpose. Knight Sorrow did this to attract the attention of the other dynasties and make the Night Moon City more peaceful," Wu Lingfei said. If asked who among the people in the hall knew Knight Sorrow the best, it was of course her. "He flattened 8 or 9 city lord mansions of the Tianfeng dynasty and Qingming dynasty and killed many venerables. This courage is worthy of praise." "Very good." Xiaolanjun, who had been silent all this time, said. "We still have to find a way to catch these two bastards," Guo said. "If it's easy to find them, the Tianfeng dynasty wouldn't have been wiped out and several city lord mansions couldn't do anything. This is a skill. Moreover, even if the Tianfeng dynasty and the Qingming dynasty captured them, they would kill them to establish their prestige. If they wanted to kill them, they would have to announce it to the world. We would still have a chance to rescue them," Xiaolanjun said. Lin Yuandao and the others nodded. They had no other choice now. Knight Sorrow wanted to avenge the Night Moon dynasty, and they couldn't openly support him. "Are you still worried? Why don't you think more about what kind of person Yin Tianlong is? How can he not leave a backup plan for his descendants?" "I don't believe that he didn't leave a backup plan. Whoever believes that is a fool," Xiaolanjun muttered and left the underground hall. "Yes, we are too nervous. It should be fine. Let them do what they want," Lin Yuandao said with a smile. Wu Lingfei and the others came to a courtyard. "City Lord, what's the situation with our captain?" Ho Jian asked. "I don't know, but they are safe. No one knows where they are." Wu Lingfei looked at Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu and said, "Can we go out and fight?" Yang Lei asked. "No. Knight Sorrow and the others can kill venerables. Even if they can't kill them, they can guarantee that they can escape unscathed. Can you?" Wu Lingfei said with a frown. Hearing Wu Lingfei's words, no one said anything. No one could guarantee that they could escape unscathed like Knight Sorrow. "If you are willing, then go to Night Moon City and take a look. If anyone dares to cause trouble in Night Moon City, you can help Knight Sorrow as much as you can." After thinking for a while, Wu Lingfei gave the God-slaying squad a suggestion. The members of the God-slaying squad bowed to Wu Lingfei and then prepared to set off. The dynasties of the Grand Pure Domain were in chaos because of Knight Sorrow and Yun Huang's robbery. However, Night Moon City was in an uproar. Once news of Knight Sorrow attacking a city spread, Night Moon City would be in an uproar for a while. The main reason was that the people of Night Moon City had been suppressed for too long. The Night Clan was their pride, and now Knight Sorrow was regaining that pride. On an island in the sea, the purple-robed man trembled as he listened to the report from the scout in front of him. "Spatial Rend. Night Moon Dynasty. Knight Sorrow. Investigate with all your might. I want to know everything about him. Also, pay attention to the situation in Night Moon City." The purple-robed man issued a series of orders. Chapter 621. Genius 1 second. Remember love/go/little? We will provide you with interesting novels to read. After thinking for a while, the purple-robed man turned around, tore open space and disappeared again. The current situation in the Taiqing domain was beyond his expectations. It should be beyond the expectations of the Night Moon clan. After eating and drinking in the camp once again, Yun Huang said, "My cultivation has reached a bottleneck. It's just that my realm is a little lacking. How about you?" "I can't do it. I still need some time. However, I will be in seclusion tonight. If it goes well, we will continue the plan tomorrow. If there is not enough time, we will postpone the plan," Knight Sorrow said. After this period of battle and hard work, Knight Sorrow's vital energy cultivation and soul cultivation were increasing. The most obvious improvement was in the cultivation of the myriad Dao treasured tome. It had reached the bottleneck of the peak of the level 6 Dao querying realm. Night Sorrow planned to break through tonight and break through to the level 7 Dao querying realm. That way his actual combat strength would increase again. Every stage of a cultivator was divided into 3 stages. The first 3 stages were the initial stage, the middle 3 stages were the intermediate stage, and the last 3 stages were the advanced stage. The combat strength of the 3 stages was completely different. Under normal circumstances, without taking into account other factors, the combat strength of the intermediate stage and the advanced stage was quite different. Yun Huang nodded. He knew that everyone's cultivation was different. When one needed to tidy up, going into seclusion might not necessarily mean advancing. Love, Gong Little say W. Chu sitting in the tent, Night Sorrow communicated with Little Kong. After shutting off all the energy input, he took out the mystic turtle crystal and started cultivating. With the cultivation of the myriad Dao treasured tome, advancing to the Dao querying realm was easy. As long as one's cultivation was stable enough, they could advance naturally. After spending a night, Night Sorrow successfully advanced the myriad Dao treasured tome to the level 7 Dao querying realm. Night Sorrow sensed it and realized that the strength of his body had increased again. His strength had increased by quite a bit. In addition, he sensed that the Essence Chi beacon was now 4.5 feet high. Holding the reincarnation spear, Night Sorrow cultivated for a while. He felt pretty good. The advancement of the myriad Dao treasured tome had increased his combat strength by quite a bit. Your cultivation base did not increase, but I can feel that your condition is different. Additionally, your essence energy smoke has increased, said Yun Huang as he looked at Night Sorrow. Yes, I'm still cultivating my body. Last night, I made some progress in my body cultivation, Night Sorrow said. No wonder. After drinking the Sun Dragon wine, I couldn't take it anymore and wanted to go into the city to look for my little sister. But you were fine. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and said. Ah. That's because your willpower isn't strong enough, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Bullshit. Why don't you try having a pillar supporting the sky every day? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction. Ba is the only original version $J, and the other G are all square root pirated. Night Sorrow could only smile. He knew how powerful the Sun Dragon wine was. When he had just drunk it and had yet to refine it, he was also flustered. After that, the two of them continued their journey and continued to loot and kill in the Qingming dynasty's territory. Now the two of them were even more cautious than before. They entered the city during the day to investigate. If they found that they could get through, they would kill at night. After massacring 3 more city lord mansions in the Qingming dynasty, Yi Shang and Yun Huang realized that things were not going well. They went into the city a few times and found supremacies with cultivation levels that Yun Huang couldn't see through lurking in the city lord mansions. Yun Huang couldn't see through their cultivation, which meant that they were at least level 4 sovereigns. The lowest was mid-level sovereigns, which wasn't something that the two of them could fight against. After a few more cities, the two of them felt helpless. After that, Night Sorrow decided to go back and attack the Tianfeng dynasty. Yun Huang agreed with Night Sorrow's idea. After knowing that the two of them had entered the Qingming dynasty's territory, the Tianfeng dynasty should let down their guard. Their plan went smoothly and they destroyed another 3 cities in the Tianfeng dynasty. After failing again, the two of them rushed towards the Night Moon City. At this time, Night Sorrow had accumulated a lot of resources. He didn't have many level 5 pills, but he had a lot of level 3 and level 4 pills. Night Sorrow planned to send them to the Night Moon dynasty. Ah, this is great. I've never felt so good before. Yun Huang sat on the back of the silver-winged eagle and counted his gains while drinking wine. At first, Yun Huang wanted mid-grade spirit stones, but he didn't want them anymore. To him, mid-grade spirit stones were just like drinking tea or taking a teleportation circle. They had no other use. In the end, he gave them all to Night Sorrow. Because the demand for resources in the Night Moon City was high, there were more low-level Night Moon people. Night Sorrow's storage rings were filled with mid-grade spirit stones and pills. Night Sorrow believed that they would be of great help to the people of the Night Moon. He also had a lot of level 5 pills, but he didn't have many void pills. He had enough clear void pills to last for a while. Let's go back. I'll walk around the Night Moon City and see if there are any beauties. I'll find one to be my wife. If she can give birth to a son with the bloodline of the Night Moon dynasty, that would be even better. Yun Huang said. I hope you get what you want. When the time comes, I'll give you a big gift. Night Sorrow said. No need to give me a big gift. Just give me a small bottle of your Sun Dragon wine. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and said, You still dare to drink Sun Dragon wine? Don't you remember what happened last time? Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang with a smile. If I get what I want, doesn't that mean I have a wife? I only need Sun Dragon wine if I have a wife. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow as if he was looking at an idiot. That's true. I didn't think it through. Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his forehead. After a few days, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang arrived at Wuxia City. In less than 2 months, Wuxia City had changed a lot. The city was no longer desolate. It was full of life. It even had the spirit of Wuxia. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang walked around Wuxia City and came to the inn. Seeing that Night Sorrow and Yun Huang had returned safely, Gu Yun was very happy. Night Sorrow took out 2 storage rings and said, There are spirit stones and elixirs in here. Uncle Gu, you can use them to improve the living conditions of the people in the city. Now that the few dynasties won't attack for no reason, we can do some construction here. How can we do that? How can we take young master's resources? Gu Jun shook his head. Uncle Gu, just take it. This time the 2 of us went out to rob. We're both very rich. Yun Huang said with a smile. If I'm really Yun Xiaoxiao, it's only right that I do something for Wuxia City. Night Sorrow stuffed the 2 storage rings into Gu Jun. Young master, you're really Yi Xiaoxiao. I'm not talking about your name. I'm saying that you're definitely the young master of Wuxia City. Gu Jun said. Uncle Gu, just let me know if you need anything. I'm going to take a look at Night Moon City and pay my respects to the ancestors. Wuxia City needs to continue its recovery. It's best if it's the real Wuxia City. Night Sorrow said to Gu Jun. Then he rushed towards Night Moon City with Yun Huang. At this moment, at the city gate of Night Moon City, Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu and the God-slaying team were stopped. They were not allowed to enter the city. Can you call someone who can make the decision here? We don't have any ill intentions. Yang Lei said. We didn't say that you have ill intentions. We don't have ill intentions either. It's just that the situation in Night Moon City isn't suitable for strangers. The guard of Night Moon City said. Chapter 622. A genius remembers love in a second? Speaking of the net, I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Young madam? This subordinate, the captain of the 3rd squad, Night Peace, greets the 2 young ladies, but the captain of the guards bowed in greeting, but he was conflicted about whether to let them go or not, because he could not confirm the identities of Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Sigh. We won't make things difficult for you. We will camp outside the city. If you need to fight, come and inform us. Seeing the captain of the Night Moon City guards at a loss, Yang Lei laughed, because she felt that the people of Night Moon were very polite, and even had this perseverance in their politeness. GDQ hair, young madam, it's my fault that I can't let you enter the city. Now, I will arrange for you to camp, and once I confirm the identities of the 2 young madams, I will be willing to apologize. Men, go and inform the 9th elder. Night Peace brought Yang Lei and the others to camp while arranging for people to inform the city. You're right to do so. Sikong Chuyu nodded towards Night Peace. Sikong Chuyu felt that as a person one had to have perseverance. Night Sorrow had perseverance and so did Night Peace. The God-slaying squad camped outside the city on Night Moon, but no one complained, because Night Peace had even sent people to get food and drink. After receiving the notice, Yi Xiaoyuan immediately came to the God-slaying squad's camp. Just as Yi Xiaoyuan exchanged a few words with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, 2 flying demonic beasts appeared in the air. It's the captain. Captain, I'm Lei Bao, we're here. Seeing Tianyu appear, Lei Bao shouted at the top of his lungs. Night Sorrow, who was drinking with Yun Huang, who was riding the silver-winged eagle on Tianyu's back, heard the shout and immediately called out to Yun Huang. The 2 of them controlled the flying demonic beasts to land. Yi Xiaoyuan greets young lord and young master Yun. Yi Xiaoyuan and the few elders all bowed to Night Sorrow. You're too courteous. Why are you here? Seeing Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, and the members of the God-slaying team, Night Sorrow was very surprised. Auntie Fei was worried that someone would come to Yeyue City to cause trouble, so she arranged for us to come here. The main reason was that we couldn't find you, so we could only wait here, Yang Lei said. Elder. Among these people, 2 are my fiancé. Yi Xiaoyuan, Night Peace, Night Sorrow. Your subordinate, Yi Anning, didn't know young madam's identity and blocked young madam's group outside the city. This is your subordinate's dereliction of duty. Please punish me, young master. After hearing the conversation between Yi Shang and Yi Xiaoyuan, Yi Anning knelt on one knee and accepted his punishment. Night, night, night. Night, 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 peace, night, 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 peace. It's good that young lord doesn't mind. Then let's enter the city. Young lord going to the Tianfeng dynasty and the Qingming dynasty to wash the city lord's mansion in blood is really satisfying, allowing us night moon people to vent our anger, but we can't do that anymore, it's too dangerous. Yi Xiaoyuan was very happy in his heart. He was happy that Night Sorrow had returned, happy that Night Sorrow was so graceful and magnanimous. From his attitude towards Night Sorrow, Yi Xiaoyuan had a better understanding of Night Sorrow's temperament. While moving forward, Night Sorrow gave Yun Huang and the members of the God-slaying squad an introduction. Both sides greeted each other politely. They were all proud people, and since Yun Huang did not understand the members of the God-slaying squad, he naturally looked at them with normal eyes. Although Yang Lei, Ling Long and the others knew that Yun Huang was following Night Sorrow into battle, they still had their doubts. Yi Xiaoyuan arranged for the members of the God-slaying squad to stay in an empty mansion. When Yi Shang was about to send them off, Yi Xiaoyuan shook his head and said, "Young master, you have other residences. Come with me and take a look. There's no need to go through so much trouble. I'll stay here." Night Sorrow said. Baidu search love go little say w. AI Chuex. Come, young lord, you are now the person with the highest authority in the Night Moon dynasty, so naturally, you have to have a place to give orders. This subordinate has tidied up and built a mansion right next to the former Wuyo mansion, which is very close to here. Everyone can go over and take a look, and it will be convenient for you to walk back and forth in the future. Yi Xiaoyuan bowed and said. That's fine, then let's go over now. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. Following that, Yi Xiaoyuan led the group to a very stylish and elegant residence. This place was newly renovated and built. In fact, this was originally Young Lord's residence. Because this is a subsidiary of Ashoka Manor, it's where the direct descendants of Ashoka Manor reside. Okay, then I'll stay here for now. Night Sorrow nodded. As for the lintel, I really don't know how to hang it. Yi Xiaoyuan exhaled and said. After confirming that Night Sorrow was a direct descendant of the Night Moon dynasty, Yi Xiaoyuan understood that Night Sorrow's status was noble, but he didn't have a title, so it wasn't easy to hang the lintel of the mansion. That's not important, let's go in. I have something to tell everyone. Night Sorrow glanced at the group of Night Moon citizens behind Yi Xiaoyuan and said. After entering the mansion and sitting down, Night Sorrow took out a few storage rings and placed them on the table in front of him. Young lord, what are you doing? Yi Xiaoyuan looked at Night Sorrow in confusion. These are some resources that Yun Huang and I obtained from killing some opponents in the City Lord's mansion. Night Moon City has many things to do and needs resources to rebuild. Everyone also needs to improve their cultivation, so Elder, you can arrange it as you see fit. Night Sorrow said. No, we can't take your resources. Yi Xiaoyuan refused. Take it. Don't reject the young lord's kindness. Two elders appeared in the mansion. Ling Lan, Ling Yuan, two law enforcers. They really are law enforcers. Yi Xiaoyuan looked at the two elders excitedly. Night Sorrow also stood up because these two were beginner-level supremacies. We know about the young lord's deeds, so we came back. I'm Yi Ling Lan. Young lord, can you show us your identity jade token again? The elder called Ling Lan by Yi Xiaoyuan looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow nodded and took out his identity jade token and handed it to Yi Ling Lan. Yi Ling Lan's hands trembled as he held the jade token. Yi Ling Yuan, who was standing at the side, also stared at the jade token. After a while, Yi Ling Lan handed the jade token back to Night Sorrow. Young lord, can you use the spatial fissure? Night Sorrow nodded and activated his bloodline talent. He used the spatial fissure in the air. As Night Sorrow used the spatial fissure, a black spatial fissure appeared out of nowhere. Under the control of Night Sorrow's union of heaven and man, it closed very slowly. At this moment, Yi Ling Lan and Yi Ling Yuan bowed at the same time. Yi Ling Lan and Yi Ling Yuan of the Mad God lineage greets the young lord. Seniors, please don't. You are all seniors. Night Sorrow quickly helped Yi Ling Lan and Yi Ling Yuan up. We are the lineage of the 8th son of the Moon Monarch, Mad God lineage. The one in charge of the family is Mad God lineage. The next in charge of the family is Mad God lineage. Royal Uncle Xinchuan's successor is the undefeated King Brother Wang Huan. After him is Prince Wuyo. You are the only son of Prince Wuyo. Chapter 623. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. There are many princes in the Night Moon dynasty. To determine if one is a direct descendant, it depends on the strength of their bloodline. Only those with a pure bloodline can use spatial rend. Others can use spatial rend. There is no problem with the purity of the young master's bloodline. Even if he is not from Wu You's bloodline, he is from another branch of Prince Wu Mo's bloodline. He is worthy of being called young master. Love Gone Little say Yi Ling Lan didn't give Night Sorrow a chance to deny his identity as the young master, even if he wasn't Prince Wu You's son. Actually, this subordinate can determine whether or not young master is Prince Wu You's legitimate son. Back then, during young master Xiao Xiao's 1-month-old birthday banquet, when Prince Ling Huan was holding young master, the swaddling clothes slipped off. This subordinate could clearly see a red birthmark on the back of young master Xiao Xiao's right shoulder. Yi Ling Yuan said. Looks like I really am, but I'm now called Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took off his robe. Yang Lei reached out and pulled the back collar of Night Sorrow's robe. Everyone saw that there was a red birthmark under Night Sorrow's right shoulder. Yishang. Why is young master Xiao Xiao called by this name? Yi Ling Lan looked at Yishang, who had finished putting on his robes, with some confusion. It's to commemorate the members of the Yi clan who died protecting me. Those who were close to me died, and those who were close to me died. That's why my name is Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow exhaled and revealed the origin of his name. That's what I should do. I dare not comment on the young master's name. You are? Yi Ling Lan looked at Yi Xiaoyuan. Elders, Yi Xiaoyuan is from a branch family. In terms of seniority, I'm from the 4th generation. I've been staying in the Night Moon dynasty. Now that the 2 elders and the young master have returned, please take charge of the situation. Yi Xiaoyuan bowed and said. You've done well. In the past we went out to carry out a mission and missed the war. Later we felt that it was meaningless for us to come out and fight if our clansmen didn't return. Hence we have been living in seclusion in Taiqing City. When we heard that the young master destroyed the cities of the Tianfeng and Qingming dynasties, we decided to return. Love Gone Little say Yi Ling Lan bowed to Night Sorrow. I don't know how to address you, but you are an elder. You can't be like this. Yi Shang hurriedly helped Yi Ling Lan up. The 2 of us are from the same generation as Prince Ling Huan. In the past, our cultivation bases were at the peak of the Void Inquiry stage. We didn't have a title before we entered the Venerable Realm. In the past we were attendants. However, in terms of cultivation base we can now serve as outer elders. Currently, the main force of the Night Moon dynasty isn't here. We will do what we should do well. Yi Ling Lan said. After that, Yi Xiaoyuan handed over the storage rings that Night Sorrow took out to Yi Ling Lan. Then let's see what kind of resources the young master took out and see how to use them in the most reasonable way. Yi Ling Lan said and opened the storage rings. W only /TW original 7M version R, ZQD hashtag all V /pirated version. Piles of crystal stones and medicine bottles appeared in front of everyone. Night Sorrow introduced the 5th grade pills, 4th grade pills, 3rd grade pills, 4th grade pills, 4th grade pills, 3rd grade pills, pills that could increase one's cultivation base by 1 level, pills that could assist in cultivation and so on. There are so many resources. It's enough for us to recuperate in the Night Moon dynasty for a while. It's also enough for us to nurture our young people. Yi Ling Yuan looked at the resources on the ground and said excitedly. It's inconvenient to travel in the Night Moon dynasty. However, I can set up 2 teleportation formations. I just don't know how to set them up properly. Night Sorrow looked at Yi Ling Lan and Yi Ling Yuan and said. We need to set up one in the Night Moon dynasty while the other one needs to be set up in the safe zone between us and Taiqing City. After that, it will be connected to Taiqing City. Yi Ling Yuan said. No. If our teleportation formation is connected to Taiqing City's teleportation formation, we will be exposed directly. It won't do us any good. Night Sorrow shook his head and rejected this idea. He did not want to be high profile in the Night Moon dynasty as it would attract the attention of other forces. Young master is right. In that case, 2 teleportation formations are not enough. Yi Ling Lan nodded and agreed with Night Sorrow's idea. How about this? I'll see if I can get more teleportation crystals. If I can, then we can set up a teleportation formation in the Night Moon dynasty in a secret place in Taiqing City. This way it will be easier to exchange resources and collect materials. Night Sorrow said. Young master can decide on these matters. However, young master's safety comes first. We were powerless in the past and no one would blame us. However, if something happens to young master now, we won't be able to face the ancestors of the Yi clan. Yiling Lan said. Alright, then I'll trouble you two elders with Night Moon Dynasty. As for the Night Moon Dynasty, let them rebuild it. If they have the ability, they can come and destroy it. As long as the people of the Night Moon Dynasty are still here, we must rebuild it. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Young master, you don't have to worry about Night Moon Dynasty. We will take care of it. Yiling Lan said. Then Yiling Lan left with his men. However, he left a small group of guards at the entrance of Night Sorrow's mansion. Captain, you've been in the limelight recently. It's not nice of you to not take us with you. Ling Long said. This can't be helped. With few people, I have the pagoda of time and space to protect me. I can retreat at a critical moment. With too many people, I can't fight and retreat whenever I want. Besides, this is my personal matter. I shouldn't drag you guys down with me. Night Sorrow said. Captain, this is your fault. We are brothers. Shouldn't brothers face difficulties together? Lei Bao said. Yes. When the team is on the move, your words are orders. We will definitely carry them out. However, in private, I still want to say something. When I joined the team, you said that if I wanted to join the team, I should at least be a brother's back and be able to block a blade for a brother. Now you're saying that only you can block a blade for us and we can't do the same. Ling Long said. All right. However, we need a more thorough plan. We need to investigate thoroughly before we can make a move. Night Sorrow said. Leave the investigation to me. Yun Huang said. You are the captain's brother. However, we can't let others take the risk for the god-slaying team. Ho Jian said. Night Sorrow wants to avenge Night Moon Dynasty. I am his brother. It is only right that I help him. It has nothing to do with the god-slaying team. Yun Huang said. Alright, Yun Huang and I are friends who have gone through life and death situations together. He's very suitable for scouting because he can detect cultivators with high cultivation. We can't compare to him in this aspect, said Yi Shang. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, no one had any objections. The god-slaying team followed Night Sorrow's lead. Yun Huang treated Night Sorrow as his brother. No one would say anything else. After that, Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, Ling Long, and Nan Liue went out to buy food. Night Sorrow and the others chatted casually. I can't tell that you look like a prince. Don't all princes wear awesome and flashy battle robes? Lei Bao looked at Yun Huang and said, I'm the real deal. When I have time, I can take you guys to the Yun dynasty to see my prowess. Besides, isn't he a prince too? Why would he dress differently from me? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and said, Then we must go to the Yun dynasty to see if there are any beauties. Yun Jing said. Chapter 624. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We will provide you with interesting novels to read. Speak clearly. How am I wretched? Lei Zheng was not willing to be looked down upon by Yun Huang. Then let's compete. Are you as tall and mighty as me? If you're not as fierce as me, then forget it. Come to our Yun dynasty and we'll treat you with good wine and meat. However, I'll remind you of the women you're interested in. Yun Huang straightened his back and looked at Yun Zheng. All right. I'm wretched. What I want to say is, you know who is the wretched one. Lei Zheng was speechless. Yun Huang glanced at Lei Zheng with a victorious look in his eyes. After a while, Yang Lei and the others brought back a lot of delicious food. They went to a restaurant and ordered food. The restaurant sent someone to deliver it. Night Sorrow and the others wanted to pay, but the female boss of the restaurant refused to accept it. Not to mention that you are the young master of Night Moon. Just because you stood up for Night Moon, our restaurant will never charge you. In the future we will deliver 3 meals a day. The female boss of the restaurant said. That's not appropriate. If that's the case, how can I have the face to eat a second time? Just accept the fee. Then we can eat whenever we want. There's no pressure at all. Night Sorrow smiled and stuffed the spirit stones into the female boss's hand. After drinking, everyone dispersed. Ho Jian brought the members of the god-slaying team to the residence where they were stationed. Yun Huang also followed. The main reason was that Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu had just met and had a lot to talk about. Night Sorrow was worried that it would be inconvenient for Ling Long and Nan Liue to go, so he arranged rooms for them. After that, Yi Shang and the other two went to the main hall of the mansion to drink tea and chat. There were also 2 servants cleaning the courtyard. They were all arranged by Yi Xiaoyuan. After drinking a pot of tea, Night Sorrow brought the 2 girls to Night Moon at the suggestion of the 2 girls and offered incense to the ancestors of the Night clan. Then Night Sorrow brought the two girls to the entrance of the Night Moon Sea to take a look. It's too terrifying inside. Once you enter, you will have to face the spatial turbulence. Your protective energy won't be able to withstand it. Sikong Chiyu said. Yes. Unless you have a high-grade protective energy shield and the union of heaven and man realm to control the spatial turbulence and not get close. Otherwise you will have to grasp the power of the laws. Otherwise you will die. Night nodded. After staying on Night Moon Sky's island for a while, Yishang brought the two women back to their mansion to rest. With Night Sorrow's spiritual stone resources, Yi Ling Lan sent people out to exchange for resources and elixirs. The cultivation of the future generations was very important. It represented the future. Yun Huang had been hanging out with the members of the God-slaying squad. Usually they would chat, but the rest of the time he would focus on raising his cultivation level. His cultivation level was high enough, but his cultivation level was still a little low. After all, not everyone could be like Night Sorrow, who could reach his cultivation level in advance. After resting for a while, Night Sorrow decided to move. He planned to go to Taiching City first and see if he could get a spatial crystal. Night Moon City couldn't be stagnant. If they wanted to develop, they needed to exchange all kinds of resources. After communicating with Yi Ling Lan and Yi Ling Yuan, Night Sorrow set off with the God-slaying squad. Their first stop was the first base of Tianji Tower. Yun Huang was going to take office there. Night Sorrow knew that Wu Lingfei was worried about him, so he wanted to go and tell her that he was safe. It was troublesome to not have a transmission array. Although their mounts were fast, it still took them over 20 days to reach the first base of Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow had Ho Jian take the God-slaying squad to rest. Then he took Yun Huang and Ling Long to the inner part of the base. Love go go xiao shua 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 w. AI Chuex. So in the inner part of Tianji Tower wasn't a place that just anyone could enter. It needed to be checked layer by layer. However, Night Sorrow and the others were all Celestial Empire envoys, so there was no problem. In the underground hall of the base, Night Sorrow met Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao and the others. Night Sorrow and the others bowed in greeting. Night Sorrow, you're too reckless. Can't you think before doing something? Don't you know how worried everyone was? Guishao glared at Night Sorrow. I thought about it and felt that there was no problem, so I did it. I'm sorry to have worried you seniors, Night Sorrow said, a little embarrassed. It's fine as long as it's safe. How's Night Moon City? Wu Lingfei asked. Because of the war, Night Moon City is a little desolate and dilapidated. However, it will change as we repair and recuperate. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, Lin Yuandao activated the Celestial Empire token for Yun Huang, and Yun Huang officially became a Celestial Empire envoy. What do you plan to do next? Lin Yuandao asked Night Sorrow. Kill, continue to kill. If we don't make them suffer, they'll think about making others suffer. Night Sorrow spoke of his plan. But you have to know that the dynasties have deep foundations and have more supremacies. Now that you've made them nervous, every city has a supremacy guarding it. It'll be risky if it's like what you did before, Lin Yuandao said. We'll hide from the mid-level and high-level supremacies. Night Sorrow can kill the low-level supremacies. It's useless to kill them anyway, so we'll capture the low-level supremacies and kill them. That's the only way to kill them effectively, Yun Huang said. Night Sorrow is taking revenge for Night Moon Dynasty. Why are you cheering for him? Hua Haining, who had been silent all this time, spoke up. He had always been in charge of Yun Huang's assessment. Night Sorrow is my brother. How can I be cheering for him? We're fighting for our brothers. We had a good time working together, Yun Huang said to Hua Haining. Very good. All three of you can do it, Xiaolanjun said. I haven't introduced you yet. This is the Supreme Elder of Tianji Tower. Lin Yuandao introduced Xiaolanjun to Night Sorrow and the other two. Night Sorrow and the other two quickly bowed to Xiaolanjun. Everyone knew about the battle between Tianji Tower and the Tianfeng dynasty. Tianji Tower's high-level saint had appeared, but they didn't know who it was. After listening to Lin Yuandao's introduction, they all understood. Tianji Tower is people-oriented. If you really have any difficulties, don't forget that Tianji Tower is your backing, Xiaolanjun said. Xiaolanjun said. She was very satisfied with Yi Shang and the other two, especially Yi Shang. It had been many years since she had seen someone whose body was stronger than Yi Shang's. Vich version L, Chapter 7, a Super/P. Yes, Night Sorrow. Is there anything you need help with? Lin Yuandao asked. He hoped to help Night Sorrow. Fighting for the Night Moon dynasty is the responsibility of Night Moon's descendants. This is what I should do. I can't involve Tianji Tower, but I would like to exchange some resources with Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Tell me about it. Lin Yuandao nodded to Night Sorrow. I can exchange space crystals with supreme-grade spirit stones, life crystals and soul crystals, Night Sorrow said. These are all things that can improve the strength of a venerable. The resources needed by a venerable are too scarce. Lin Yuandao nodded. The resources that Night Sorrow mentioned were all equivalent to space crystals. Chapter 625. Genius 1 second remember love go/little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Dragon Spirit Pill? Could it be the Dragon Spirit Pill that can raise the cultivation of a supremacy? Xiaolanjun asked in surprise. Yes. Night Sorrow nodded. You mean you can get the Dragon Spirit Pill? Xiaolanjun stood up because this was too important. With the help of the Dragon Spirit Pill, there would be more high-level supremacies in Tianji Tower. Not for the time being. I can't refine it yet. Let's wait for a while. We'll talk about exchanging resources later. When Night Sorrow heard Xiaolanjuan's words, he knew that Tianji Tower wouldn't use the space crystal to exchange for other resources. He felt that he had thrown away his trump card a little too early. Fortunately, he could go to Taiching City to buy it. Night Sorrow is an alchemy master himself. If he has the materials, he can enter the supremacy realm and refine level 6 pills without a problem, Wu Lingfei said. When Xiaolanjun heard Night Sorrow's words, she knew that Night Sorrow had other ideas. I remember that you're also an alchemy master. As for the Dragon Spirit Pill, you're overthinking it. I was just surprised. I didn't say that the space crystal must be exchanged for the Dragon Spirit Pill. Master K, if we have extra space crystals, it won't hurt to sponsor our members. Elder Hua, do you have any? Lin Yuandao asked. Yes, after we set up a teleportation array in the city we conquered this time, we still have a few extra. Hua Haining took out 3 space crystals. This was the foundation of Tianji Tower. As long as it wasn't a side door, it would have a stockpile. After looking at it, Night Sorrow took out 2 soul crystals, 2 life crystals and 20 top-grade spirit stones and placed them in front of Hua Haining. Elder Hua, do you think these resources can be exchanged? Yes. This is already a lot. Let's not talk about this for now. Tianji Tower hasn't rewarded you for using the origin stones to fund Chief Inspector Gua and me. Hua Haining didn't accept the resources that Night Sorrow had offered. Let's not talk about those things. Those are my contributions as a member of Tianji Tower. If Elder Hua thinks it's okay, then I'll accept these space crystals. Night Sorrow put the 3 space crystals into his storage ring. Alright, tell me where you want to set up the teleportation array, and I'll find someone to arrange it for you. Hua Haining sighed. He understood that Night Sorrow would not and was unwilling to take advantage of Tianji Tower. There's no need for that. He's a master of array formations himself, Lin Yuandao said with a smile. After chatting with Wu Lingfei for a while, Night Sorrow bowed to everyone present and was about to leave. Exquisite and Yun Huang also bowed to the people in the hall before leaving the underground base with Night Sorrow. Supreme Elder, you've seen him. What do you think? Lin Yuandao looked at Xiaolanjun and asked. He has great charisma and is a natural leader. Didn't you notice that the 2 celestial emissaries also followed his lead? The rarest thing is the pride in his heart. It should be said that it's the nobility in the depths of his soul. He saluted us and didn't lower his head because he saluted us out of respect. He doesn't think he's inferior. Very good. Xiaolanjun said. That's why I plan to make him the young tower master. If it weren't for the matter of Night Moon, I would have announced it now, Lin Yuandao said. You can discuss this matter. I exist only to help when Tianji Tower is in danger. I won't say much about other things, nor will I interfere with your decisions. Xiaolanjun expressed her attitude. After leaving the underground hall, Yun Huang said excitedly, Night Sorrow, since you can refine dragon spirit pills, you must leave some for me. Otherwise, when your cultivation increases rapidly after you enter the venerable realm, I won't be able to play with you. Of course, that's not a problem. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. Exquisite, aren't you going to ask if your captain will give it to you? Yun Huang asked in puzzlement when he saw that Exquisite didn't say anything. That's because you don't know our captain. There's no need to ask. If anyone in our god-slaying squad needs it, our captain will naturally give it to them. Exquisite glanced at Yun Huang and said, "Is that so?" Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow. "Resources are meant to be used. Relatives and brothers, whoever needs it can use it. In fact, you don't have to ask." Night Sorrow nodded. He was very gratified that Exquisite could understand him. A unique is positive, and edition J, DQK Ta 30 all 4 backslashes Robber Plus. Edition K, alright. You guys win. It's my fault for being narrow-minded and not being open-minded enough. Yun Huang lamented. He knew that his inner thoughts were still lacking. His definition of brothers was not enough. Don't think like that. If we can go through life and death together, that's what brothers are. There's no need to say anything else. Night Sorrow patted Yun Huang's shoulder. When are we leaving? I'll scout the area and we'll continue to rob. After we get the materials, we can get whatever resources we want. You can refine pills and array formations and I can refine weapons. We won't need to ask anyone for help in the future. Yun Huang laughed. It's good that you can refine weapons, but it's useless if you can't refine spirit weapons. Exquisite glanced at Yun Huang and said, "What are you talking about? I started refining this pair of scimitars as a Tier 2 weapon. Then I upgraded them to Tier 3, Tier 4 and Tier 5. As long as I enter the Venerable Realm, I can refine them and upgrade them to spirit weapons." Yun Huang was very dissatisfied with Exquisite's distrustful gaze. "That's not bad." Exquisite nodded. When they reached the surface base, the three of them arrived at the God-Slaying Squad's habitat. At this moment, the members of the God-Slaying Squad were sparring. Some were practicing their battle techniques, while others were practicing their array formations. These guys are really hard-working. Yun Huang was somewhat impressed by the members of the God-Slaying Squad. During the time he had spent with them, they had not stopped cultivating. It was as though they did not know the meaning of fatigue. "We're not princes. We don't have anyone to rely on. So we can only work hard ourselves," Exquisite said. F***CK. Why do you always have such a taste in your mouth? Yun Huang was dissatisfied with Exquisite's words. F***CKU? There are many people who have such thoughts about me. Who do you think you are? Exquisite retorted without backing down. "You're awesome. You're ruthless. Can I shut up?" Yun Huang was rendered speechless by Exquisite's sharp words. "You two are also Heaven's fate emissaries. In the future you'll be fighting side by side. Is there a need to quarrel like this?" Night Sorrow said helplessly. "Captain, you heard what he said just now. Yet you still have such thoughts about me." "That's too dirty," Exquisite said. "That's not what I said when I was agitated. Is there a need to go so far?" Yun Huang explained. He knew that it was inappropriate to speak to a woman like that. "Give me some face. We'll be fighting side by side in the future. Let's go investigate later. Yun Huang, you have to be careful. There are so many of us. We can't make any mistakes," Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang. Chapter 626. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with interesting novels to read. The members of the God-Slaying team gathered together. Night Sorrow also took out a map and chose some of the border cities of the various dynasties that could be attacked. If there's a teleportation formation in a city, we'll have to split up and destroy it. Otherwise, when the enemy's reinforcements arrive, it'll be like catching a turtle in a jar. "We'll be in trouble," Night Sorrow said. "How about this? After we've chosen a city to attack, I'll go in first to investigate. If there's nothing wrong, I'll come back and call for reinforcements. We'll go in and destroy the teleportation formation. The rest of us will start killing," Yun Huang said. "That's a good idea." Ling Long nodded. Xueling, Ho Jian, Yang Lei and the others had no objections. It was safer this way. You don't have to look at me. I'll do my best to investigate. Otherwise, if something happens, I won't be able to escape, right? But no one can be 100% sure about this. The cities aren't small. If someone is shameless enough to lie in a small tavern, I won't be able to detect it," Yun Huang said. "Let's plan for both sides. If the enemy has hidden experts, all of you will retreat. I'll hold them off. Yun Huang, you cover the rear," Night Sorrow said. "Okay, no problem." Yun Huang nodded. "Leader, Brother Yun is helping us fight. It's better for us to cover the rear if there's danger." "Xueling and I will cover the rear," Ho Jian said. "Brother Ho, don't say that. Night Sorrow is my brother. If there's danger, I won't leave him behind. Besides, we've fought together many times and have a tacit understanding. Also, the Venerable One's spatial restraint doesn't have much effect on me. Yun Huang expressed his opinion. It's decided then. Yishang also felt that Yun Huang was the most suitable person to bring up the rear. Aside from him, Yun Huang's combat strength was the strongest. Most importantly, Yun Huang was not afraid of the Venerable One's spatial fetters, so he would not be killed in one blow. Since Night Sorrow said so, no one objected. The only one who was the Venerable One, and the others were all dollar-pirated. The group took the teleportation formation to the Tai Ching domain and rested in an inn. At Xueling's suggestion, Night Sorrow decided to make a batch of masks for everyone. Then Night Sorrow arranged for Xueling to go to the workshop. Yun Huang took the teleportation formation to investigate. Yun Huang is a good person. The two of us have looted many cities in the past, but he didn't want any of the resources. Furthermore, he has always fought alongside me. We can be said to be good brothers. He hoped that the members of the God-slaying team would be able to accept Yun Huang. After all, they would be fighting together for a long time in the future. It would not be good if there was a barrier or a knot in their hearts. Captain, don't worry. I was just teasing him today. Although he is the prince of the Yun dynasty, he doesn't have that kind of arrogant and lewd aura. That is rare and precious, Ling Long said. All right, then we'll wait for his news. Yun Huang can detect cultivators who are 5 levels higher than him. If he can see their cultivation, then we can fight. If he can't, then we can only hide, said Yishang. Yun Huang returned on the night of the 3rd day. I've investigated 3 cities in the Golden Dragon King's empire. 2 of them have teleportation formations, Yun Huang said after returning to the inn. Then I'll talk about the battle plan. After we enter the city, we'll take over the teleportation formation and leave a group of people to guard it. Kill anyone who gets close to the formation. We can't let any information leak or reinforcements appear, Night Sorrow said. Leader, wouldn't it be safer if we destroy the teleportation formation? Shuefei asked. Yun Huang found 2 cities that can be attacked. If we destroy the teleportation portal, we won't be able to reach the next city quickly. When news of the attack spreads, Yun Huang's investigation results will be nullified. Who knows if they will increase their manpower at the last minute. So this is my plan. After successfully attacking, we'll take the teleportation formation to the next city. One of us will stay behind to destroy the teleportation formation. The one who destroys the teleportation formation will leisurely sit on a flying demon beast to find the nearest city with a teleportation formation. Then we'll come back here to meet up, Night Sorrow said. Good plan. We can even get the teleportation formation's spatial crystal, Ho Jian said. Of course it's good. If you can come up with such a battle plan, then you can be the leader, Nan Liyue said as she glanced at Ho Jian. Nan Liyue, you're too much. As long as there's a chance, you're going to bite me, right? Ho Jian looked at Nan Liyue gloomily. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm embarrassed by your words. I've decided that I won't bully you in the future, Nan Liyue said. How rare. Ho Jian sighed. It's mainly bullying honest people, Lei Bao said. In fact, Ho Jian was very steady and didn't talk much. Lei Bao, are you looking for a beating? If I bully Ho Jian, then I'll bully you in the future? Nan Liyue was unhappy after being reprimanded by Lei Bao. It's still a little early. Chiyu, make a pot of tea. I'll see who bites harder, Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that these people were just bickering. No one really took it to heart. The sun set in the west and the sky darkened. After Night Sorrow led the team to the teleportation formation in the Taiching region, they teleported to the target city. After exiting the teleportation formation, Night Sorrow and the members of the God-slaying team directly killed the guards guarding the teleportation formation. Then, the members of the God-slaying team were teleported over. Everyone wear your masks. The teleportation formation is the most important. Xueling, Ling Long, you two each lead a team to guard this place. Remember, safety is the most important. If you can't hold on, then destroy the teleportation formation and meet up with everyone in the direction of the City Lord's mansion. The rest of you follow me. We'll kill our way to the City Lord's mansion. Night Sorrow gave the order to the team. He was worried that the team's escape route and that the people in the city would call for reinforcements, so he left 2 teams behind. The Chenji Tower team used a joint attack formation in group battles. They were all in groups of 5. Now, Night Sorrow left 2 stronger teams behind. Then, Night Sorrow led the team and rode on the flying demon beast in the direction of the City Lord's mansion. Yun Huang was more experienced. He kept lighting torches and throwing them out from time to time, setting the more important buildings in the city on fire. Brother Yun, you're very experienced in setting fires. Ho Jian said with a smile. I work with your captain more often. Some things just get easier after a while, Yun Huang said as he threw torches from time to time. Everyone saw that Yun Huang only lit the main buildings in the city, not the houses of the commoners. This meant that there was a bottom line when doing things. For example, the high-rise buildings where the city guards used crossbows to attack mounts belonged to the city lord's mansion. Soon the team arrived at the city lord's mansion in the city. Ninth senior sister, take some people and surround this place. Kill anyone above rank 3 who resists. Yun Huang, take some people and kill them. Target the warehouse. Knight Sorrow gave the order when he saw the old man flying out of the city lord's mansion. Chapter 627. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? I will provide you with interesting novels to read. That's right, I am Night Moon, Night Sorrow. It's time for you to pay your debt. Night Sorrow said coldly. You sure talk big. Then die. A battle blade appeared in the city lord's hand as he executed spatial fetters and charged towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and executed the 7-star brilliant moon spear art. He charged towards the city lord and said, You are the one who will die. I am here to kill. The blade aura and spear light collided, causing an intense vibration. Night Sorrow was pushed back a distance. The city lord was a peak 3rd-grade martial saint. His chi was much stronger than Night Sorrow's. Even though Night Sorrow's body was strong, they were not on the same level. Night Sorrow, who was pushed back, waved his reincarnation spear and charged forward again. The city lord was very strong, but Night Sorrow felt that he could still fight. Night Sorrow was pushed back again and again. However, he was not injured and was not affected much. Night Sorrow's body was very strong and the city lord was also in a tough spot. He planned to suppress Night Sorrow, but every time they collided, he would be pushed back a little. He was unable to suppress Night Sorrow. At this moment, the city lord's mansion was on fire. Yang Lei and the rest were not to be trifled with. In just a short moment, the city lord's guards were all killed. The god-slaying team also looted the treasury of the city lord's mansion. Nan Liue also collected the resources. Night Sorrow and the city lord were fighting, and the others could only watch. It's about time. Night Sorrow muttered softly. Night Sorrow, who was prepared, immediately threw out spatial fetters. Then his bloodline ability erupted. He executed spatial rend and slashed towards the city lord. At the same time, he followed behind the spatial rend and quickly approached the city lord. The speed of the spatial rend was too fast. The city lord wanted to retreat, but it was too late. He could only wave his battle blade and take it head-on. Crack. With a crisp sound, the black-robed city lord's war blade was shattered by the energy of the space crack. At this moment, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear had also arrived. The expression of the black-clothed city lord changed greatly as he waved his hand to the side, intending to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. At this moment, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was using the vibrating force. Along with a strong vibrating sound, the right arm of the black-clothed city lord was shaken off by the reincarnation spear. However, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was also deflected by the black-clothed city lord's move. After all, the energy levels of the two people's true chi were different, and the difference was very big. The reincarnation spear that had been deflected still pierced into the ribs of the black-clothed city lord. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. Koma's Night Sorrow's right arm moved horizontally, the city lord's ribs were cut by Night Sorrow, leaving a deep wound. After heavily injuring the black-clothed city lord with one move, Night Sorrow charged forward and struck out with the Hand of Desolation. Letting out a beastly roar, the black-clothed city lord punched out. As the two people's arms approached each other, the black-clothed city lord's fist showed signs of energy loss. Bang! The two people's palms collided with each other, producing a muffled sound. Night Sorrow stood still, but the black-clothed city lord was pushed back very far. He was already heavily injured, and with the Hand of Desolation's time acceleration, the energy in his fist was depleted. Therefore, he was unable to withstand Night Sorrow's Hand of Desolation attack. At this moment, Night Sorrow raised his left hand again, and a sky-piercing spear pierced through the air, directly piercing through the black-clothed city lord's throat. Charging forward again, Night Sorrow waved his right hand, and the reincarnation spear pierced through the black-clothed city lord's chest. He continued to fly with the black-clothed city lord, and then waved his arm on a wall of the city lord's mansion that was not burned. A moment later the words "Night Moon, Night Sorrow, I'm coming" appeared again. With a shake of his arm, Night Sorrow flung the black-clothed city lord's corpse away. At the same time he also took the unlucky city lord's storage ring. At this moment, Yang Lei picked up a long sword and shot it out, nailing the black-clothed city lord's corpse to the wall. Did it go smoothly? Night Sorrow looked at the god-slaying squad gathered at the entrance of the city lord's mansion and asked. "Captain, everything went smoothly." Ho Jian cupped his hands and said. "The resources in the warehouse are in our hands." Nan Liue also took a step forward. "Gather at the teleportation array." Night Sorrow waved his arm and everyone got on their mounts. Riding on his mount, Night Sorrow looked at the group of people behind him and asked again, "Is anyone injured? Can you continue to fight?" "No problem." The members of the god-slaying squad knocked on their breastplates and answered. "That's good. Ma Shizhuang, Tang Tian, Chuning, the three of you take it easy. Don't be too rash. Get used to the speed of battle first," Night Sorrow said to Ma Shizhuang and the other two. He was most worried about these three people. 13th Marshal Uncle, don't worry. We know what to do, Ma Shizhuang said. "Captain, don't worry. These three guys are very smart. They are all experts at sneaking up on us. Even if we fall, they won't fall," Nan Liue said with a smile. "That's good." Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. He was relieved that Ma Shizhuang and the other two knew how to fight and knew how to fight. After getting on the teleportation array, Night Sorrow told Ho Qingjie to dismantle the teleportation array and return to the Taiqing region. Night Sorrow and the others then started the teleportation array. Because there was no direct teleportation array, the group of people went back and forth and arrived at this city called Dragon Whisker City. After killing the guards guarding the teleportation array, Night Sorrow left two teams behind. This time, Night Sorrow left behind Ho Jian and Lei Bao. Because they swapped, the problem of consumption was not obvious. 8 genuine first threes release F. The group of people flew towards the center of the city. Ling Long and Yun Huang asked for torches and the two of them started the fire together. "Everyone be careful," Night Sorrow said. "Night Sorrow, this city is easier to fight than the previous one. There's only one guy who just entered the venerable realm in the city lord's mansion. He's much weaker than the one you just killed," Yun Huang said. "Caution is the parent of safety." Night Sorrow was still very cautious. When they arrived at the city lord's mansion, Yang Lei and Ling Long led their people to kill. Yun Huang's expression changed. "Oh no, there's an expert here." When Yun Huang shouted, 2 old men flew out of the city lord's mansion. One was a level 1 venerable who had just entered the venerable realm, while the other had a cultivation that Night Sorrow could not see. "Ah, I'm here to collect the harvest of resources, yet I encountered such a thing. It seems that I, Jin Sun, will be the one to do this." The old man in the golden robe laughed loudly. "Night Sorrow, it's my fault." Yun Huang's expression was very ugly because he was responsible for the wrong information. "This has nothing to do with you." Night Sorrow waved his hand. "Yun Huang has let everyone down." Yun Huang looked at the group of people in the god-slaying team apologetically. "Didn't you hear? He just arrived. What does it have to do with you? Fight. If we die in battle, we brothers will fight side by side in the next life." Ling Long waved her weapon and shouted. "What will come will come. Control the nether wolves and block them. Kill one of them with all your might," Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang, who had come to his side. Yun Huang nodded and waved his arm. The roaring shadow energy behind him charged towards Jin Sun. "Jin Ji, be careful." Jin Sun shouted. "You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.